Four-game losing streak and wind up the Rodeo Road Trip. They're closing it down in Minnesota tonight. The tip is set for 7 o'clock. In the NFL, the Cowboys are not expected to franchise Tony Pollard, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Here we are. Gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. That is the handsome and overqualified RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson. I know where my car is on the other side of the double pane glass. The omnipresent, ever faithful, and ongoing companion, Easy E. Edwin Hefner. How is everybody this morning? Everybody good?
Hello,
Tuesday?
au revoir, hola, konnichiwa.
Thanks for holding down the ship yesterday. You and Joe Reinagle, stellar as always. Thank you.
Mostly me. Joe really did nothing.
Yeah, he really is just kind of there.
I mean, it's like fighting with one hand behind your back, and even then, like your better hand. You know what I mean? So I was just left-handed southpaw.
He is alone last night as Jason Minnick's bringing his champion wife home from Las Vegas as the lovely Mrs. Minnick's completed half a marathon in stellar style in Las Vegas.
Not to make content out of something that's Jason's, that I'm certain he was planning on making content out of himself. But did you see his Instagram story last night?
Last night? No, I don't think so.
He posted a photo of a slot machine.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With a bucket of coins.
Coins?
He said he was like, I haven't seen coins in forever.
Where was he?
He even specified, he put in parentheses, he said, not my coins. So he really didn't want to be judged for them potentially being his.
Those are the good old days, man. When you have a bucket, when you'd walk around for kids, you see kids back in the day, it was truly mechanical.
Before you just swiped your phone for everything, we had money,
buckets, and when you won, it was ching 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 ching, and you'd watch that thing spit out quarters or 50-cent pieces or dollars. It wasn't better. It was different.
On the subject of money, this is not going anywhere weird or anything like that, but this is a question that always lives in my mind.
What's that?
I think I've asked this before. But is there a finite amount of money on the earth? Is there a calculable amount of money?
It is forever being made. No, there's more money being printed as we speak.
That's dumb. That doesn't make sense. Why, if we can just make it, then what value does it really have?
Go back. You're asking the basic premise of my major in college economics.
Okay, just
so there's a variety of beliefs behind that, but the fact of the matter is we are an ever-expanding populace with an ever-expanding amount of money. If we're not making it, somebody else is. If we're not making it, we're creating it, called Bitcoin. We're doing things to create value in things. Go back and read about the Dutch tulip bulb. There's a time when they thought tulip bulbs were money. Moving along. In the NFL, we know how much money we can spend. Our budget's been set, which is always nice.
A finite amount.
It is. Well, you notice that is ever expanding. And this is the biggest jump in salary cap since there's been a salary cap, and everybody has an idea of what they're going to spend. We're going to look at the Dallas Cowboys. They had more money I think they had exactly as much money as they expected. I think the NFL teams were kind of like, yeah, we knew it was coming. Everybody else was just shocked by the number, how much it went up as far as the salary cap.
I'm also shocked at people's response to this and reaction to this. People saying like, oh, is this good news? Everything commensurate, everything. So if there's more available, then there's more that's wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it cool. Like that's great. Honestly, that there's more money available, but it doesn't mean that you get to, store half of it under the mattress.
No,
you know
no.
What I mean? Like,
everybody has more money.
everybody knows that you have this money. Like the players, the representation, so they know that there's more to ask for.
But it does make it easier to settle when the dollar values are starting a little bit higher. I mean, this is a good thing for teams and a good thing for players. And it's just how you're going to manipulate it, because more money is always a good thing. And even though everybody else has more money too, it gives you more playroom. And this is where I do believe great GMs are made. So, or at least validated. How's that?
That's fair. We are going to, in all likelihood, get to hear from, the GM of the Dallas Cowboys entitled Jerry Jones, as it is the NFL Combine, as you're well aware. Jerry will be rolling up in the bus, and for anyone unaware, he generally holds court in the bus for about an hour with members of the local media, the Dallas beat, to kind of get there and get to ask him some up close and personal questions. And you can bet your bottom dollar, since we're just obsessed with the dollar this morning, that Jerry will discuss things like Dak Prescott.
You think that'll be tomorrow?
Michael Parsons. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Mike McCarthy and no Mike Zimmer there to distract him or take away his attention and preoccupy him. So
we're going to talk about that today. But just to kind of tease it forward, I'm reading some stuff where people are like, "This is huge," that they're not there.
I don't know.
I don't know what to make of it.
That's a weird take that it's a huge. Even Joe Reinagle, Mr. Haterade himself, said, "I don't think this is a big deal."
I don't think it is either. Although, speaking of coaches and input on players, Greg Popovich sat in with Coach K. That's a lot of consonants going on in one podcast, let me tell you. The need to buy a vowel in that podcast is tremendous. But between the two, they're worth about $500 million.
Yeah.
But Pop sat down with Coach K and spoke basketball as only Coach K could get out of Pop. And very interesting thoughts on Wemby. Nothing really new, but always interesting to hear from Pop in those less than guarded moments.
Well, especially because we certainly hope he's feeling better, but didn't hear from Pop on Sunday night following the loss to Utah. What a weird dynamic, right? Imagine being Coach K's producer and saying, "Okay, Coach, we got to, get this episode ready, about maybe we get a guest, you know what I mean? Like, what you think about flipping through the Rolodex?" He says, "What if I call Greg Pop?"
You think Coach Pop would do it?
Producer's like, okay, you think?
You have his number?
Does he have a phone?
I'm not sure he has a cell phone, but maybe.
They fired up the old roto dial. You know what I mean, for Pop.
Have you in your long and illustrious life ever used a dial phone? A roto?
I mean, yeah. But I will say but the landlines when I was growing up were more, even before like the cordless phone, more just the standard like elongated,
the heavy,
like
clunk phone.
Yeah, like kind of shaped like a couch armrest. Not exactly, not that wide, but shaped like.
Well,
a long
if you were
L
cool, after a while, you would get the big cushion so you could rest it on your shoulder,
the little,
and walk around. That's what
like office secretaries had.
Yeah, you had the little prop, or some phones actually had it looked like a whale tail for a Porsche. Kind of bolted on, and it would like cup around your shoulder, and it would like prop up the phone to your ear if you were like a stock trader. I mean, that was the height of technology at the time.
When we had to charge the cordless phones, that was always such a pain.
Well, here was my impression of me on my cordless phone in 1987. Hello? Hold on, let me get to the good phone. The cordless phones were useless. The first 5 years.
In 1987, maybe a cordless phone was
useless, they improved.
I would say circa 2000, right around the time that Evanescence wrote "Bring Me to Life," cordless phones were the bomb.
But by that point, we all had cell phones, and we were already cutting cords.
No, but nobody was cutting a cord in 2000, dude. No, because you might have had a cell phone, but you had minutes.
I remember.
That was a challenge.
I remember my first home alarm that was set to a cell phone. Instead of a phone wire. I was like, we have made it. Technology here, bro. Not only can I come home and see a list of all the phone numbers that called me on this little box that I had plugged in to my phone that's bolted to the wall, but also my alarm is all on the cell phone towers. Modern, man. Modern. Who'd have thought?
Do you have a beeper?
I did have a beeper. Are you kidding? I think at one point I had
a
two
beeper or a
beepers.
pager?
Beeper. Back then you had one
Yeah.
for work and you had one for fam. It was and
You know, I think that's why I'm so against watching something like I've never seen The Wire. It's got to be awkward to watch The Wire and just watch the
what
level
technology
of
was.
and-
Well, hey man, back
yeah,
then,
they're like,
see, we were
well, they're
better
like,
at.
we got to call Johnson.
But you got to
know,
understand
it's a
the
45
progression.
minute process.
See, but you have to follow the progression as to how we got here. See, we all got beepers to start with. And, you dial in and you could dial in once you called the beeper, you could type in a number to have them call you back or a code. And everybody had codes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was those codes that were the initial emojis. Before there were emojis, you had codes.
Great.
So the
Great way to put
process
that.
of how we got to where we are now all started with the beeper. I mean, the old 911, whatever, but you had a code. Pick me up would be, whatever, XX1 or whatever you'd have. Those became the emojis of the time, and texting became kind of the process, the outlay of how you paged.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You would get just like your beeper would flash like, 22. My wife wants me to pick
Exactly.
up.
That's what it was. So you'd have the code
So-
for like, I'm done, pick me up. So you didn't have to do anything other than that. You don't have to call me. This is just the code. And you have a series.
Was your beeper like just normal, bland black, or did you have one of the cool? Like,
every
Legally
office
Blonde see-through ones where you could see the wiring and stuff like that.
When my first job in 1991, I was issued a beeper. And then about 6 months later, I had a brick phone. So I had a brick phone and a beeper, which was at that point, the beeper was probably weighed about 3 pounds and the brick phone weighed about 15 pounds. It was like packing around military equipment, like satellite link stuff on our backs. So you'd have to carry all that stuff. And then you had your home beeper, which you could decorate, every now and then for like Christmas, your wife would give you a new kind of clip or maybe a little chain that we wove out of, I don't know, man. I'm feeling really old right now.
Well, if you want to feel younger, just consider that there's a podcast that featured Greg Popovich and Coach K, and they talked about a number of different things.
You were a baller if your beeper could receive a text. That was big time stuff, Rudy. I don't know what you were into. Your codes were different than mine if you had the ability to actually dig in and text. All right, let's talk some sports today. What do you say? You ready to have some fun? Who wants to have some fun?
I will do that.
We're going to air some grievances. I have a couple, but Joe's an angry dude, man. Joe Reinagle needs to have an airing of grievances. See, the reason we did that was so that guys like Joe have an opportunity to just exhale. I think it made his day yesterday.
Yeah, for people like Joe, it's more of an intervention.
It is
than an airing. But the thing about interventions is they generally don't happen until they're forced upon you, and so in a loving way, of course. And that's what we did for Joe yesterday. We sort of, he walked in, we had the banner hanging. Hey Joe, we need to talk. What you're doing is affecting us.
It is, and it's a negative thing, and we all want the best for each other. Hey, coming back.
Goldfinger had the mini beeper. Wow, we got to figure out what that is too.
Oh, the mini beeper, which was just like your regular beeper, but more difficult to read. When we get back, Pop and Kay spoke. And what Pop and Kay talked about is fundamentally and completely different from what Pop told us at the beginning of the season. Think about it. Pushing the patience agenda now. We're talking about the process and how patient we got to be in the process. Spurs Talk coming next. You're on a fine radio show that we call the Morning Huddle on a first-class radio station we call 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Picture this. It's Saturday morning and you're on your John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground on your new landscaping project. Next, you're moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever. And now you're enjoying the warmth of the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand everything you can do with a John Deere compact tractor, you just have to get in the seat. Learn more at johndeere.com/get-in-the-seat or visit a dealer near you.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Get to Twin Peaks for their beer-battered fish and chips. This beer-battered cod is served with house-made tartar, malt vinegar, and french fries, and score them along with a 22-ounce Miller Lite or Coors Light for just $12. That's every Friday through Easter. Twin Peaks!
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Tonight at 5:45, it's college basketball, Wisconsin and Indiana, on your home for March Madness. 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. It's your morning huddle. RJ Ochoa, Rob Thompson with you. Hey, we're talking Spurs at 7 o'clock. The Rodeo Road Trip is winding down, and let's see if they can finish strong up with the Timberwolves. They played a good game with them last time we saw that. It's possible. This could be it. Maybe they're pacing themselves, but the road trip is done. They're playing tonight in Minnesota and will be home against the Thunders on Thursday night.
Okay.
Yay.
By the way, I know we hadn't discussed this in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled the numbers while talking to Joe yesterday. The streak is alive. We hadn't examined it.
Oh, that's right. The assist streak of 20 or better assists per
20
game.
or more.
And we're up in the hundreds, 120s now, right?
We're sitting on 116.
Oh.
The record, and Indiana's at 112, by the way. So shoo. But the all-time record in this capacity is 120. So the Spurs can tie the record next week against the Rockets, but they can earn it outright and write their names in the record books, Rob. Next, I think it's Thursday night against the Kings in Sacramento. So countdown's on.
Yeah, I would like to see what their record is during this streak.
I think as of now, it's 116 games long. They've won 27 games. 27 of those games. So I don't think you would like to see that.
I don't think we're going to be raising any banners. I don't think we're going to have some kind of, every high school has the best of every kind of, like this guy back in 1972 won some kind of weird race that we don't even run anymore faster than anybody ever did. And we'll put that up there. We had 120 games and counting of 20 or more assists. Over the weekend,
we should make a banner.
You know what? That would be the best thing we could do. The weekend of the Spurs offered was interesting to say the least, because Wemby is getting better by the game. He really is. I mean, this guy really is kind of figuring things out, even though his body, I think, is getting a little worn out. His brain is starting to get it. And now he's still a kid and still gets tired and still makes a lot of mistakes. But his first 5 minutes last Friday night, was that the Laker game? Friday or Saturday night?
Friday night was the Laker game, yeah. Thursday it was the Sacramento game.
Was redunculous.
Oh, well, the crazy thing, and you were the one who put it on my radar, was Thursday night he fell 1 assist shy of the 5x5
5x5
achievement. And we were like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe he'll come close to that again someday. Poof, that night, done.
It's going to be known as the Wemby by the time he's done. You're going to get a Wemby.
A dub T.
Dub T, I like that too.
Yeah, a Wemby thing.
A Wemby thing. But the 5x5 was apparent. The first 5 minutes, what was it, like 13 points, 4 blocks, assists, and steal. He even cookied LeBron at one point. It was him and then the rest. It was him and 4 Keystone Cops. And I know I'm dating myself when I say that, but I can't find another group of 3 or more people more bumbling than the 4 dudes that were running around him on Friday night. It didn't get much better on Sunday, the Utah game. But Friday night was a damn disgrace. And I think the ramifications were paid on Sunday night against Utah when Keldon sat down. And we're going to talk about that at 7. But I was interested to see Pop and Coach K, just because, hell, I mean, the brilliance and the genius that was shared on a podcast with Coach Krzyzewski and Coach Pop. They worked together with Team USA, and certainly great minds. A very interesting conversation about a lot of basketball stuff, but Wemby, of course. And this is nothing new from Pop, but every time I hear him talk about developing his young Victor Wembanyama, at first I didn't buy it, RJ. I didn't buy that he hadn't been paying attention. But he said it so many times, I'm starting to believe it. So we've got a couple of cuts here, and I want to make sure we get them in order. So the first thing, Edwin, I want to have him talk about how he found out that he had Wemby. Do we have that separated out? We do. So, we always heard from Pop beforehand, like, hey, man, I wasn't paying attention. I'd heard about this guy, but and it was Wemby. We were talking about him for 2 years. I knew who he was when he was 13. You tell me you didn't know. So, but the more I'm hearing him speak, I think that it is in fact true. So this is how Pop found out about Wemby, and this is kind of interesting, actually.
I didn't watch him much ahead of time because I didn't expect that we would get the first pick. So I was actually on an airplane with my family going overseas on vacation when the lottery happened, and somebody woke me up, my son-in-law, on the plane and said, "Hey, you won the lottery." That's when I started paying attention. So when I got back on vacation, I started watching film.
So the a realistic view was, hey, man, we're not going to get number 1 anyway, so why get my hopes up? And you know what? I actually buy that.
I also, the funniest thing to me is, the Spurs are a we proposition for you and I. Pop's son-in-law says you won the number 1. Not we, you. Okay, cool. I guess I buy it. I mean, the lottery's the lottery for a reason. It's okay. A sub promo for the lottery. I'm sure Adam Silver was thrilled.
It also tells me he had himself one hell of a business class suite. Somebody had to go knock on his business class suite door to wake him up as he was sleeping in one of those Air Emirates ones. This is Pop talking about just growing and developing a talent the likes of which he even can't put his fingers around. The Wemby growth is very interesting to watch under Pop's tutelage.
When he walked into the gym, I looked at his feet and I looked at his hands and I saw him handling the ball like a guard. I thought, what do we have here? What are we going to do with this guy? How are we going to not screw him up? How are we going to not skip steps? You know, what's the order? What's the process here going to be?
And that's a coach that, obviously has done this 2 times. And 3 if you count Manu, who has taken these young, talented, remarkable athletes and turned them into something. But you wonder if he's done it so much that there's not a little bit of, hey, I know what I'm doing here. Maybe you should listen to me just a little.
Yeah, this whole interview was wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but it did have a baked-in subliminal message of patience. Right. It's almost like there was, like one of those like old school subliminals where they were literally saying the word and trying to hypnotize you in the process.
Like it just flashes on the screen real quick. Patience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we didn't know what to do with patience. And, I just saw him handling the ball like a guard. Patience, and it's like, and so, every Spurs fan listening to it comes away thinking like, you know what? They've done this right. Like everyone walks away saying they've got this. What was I doing doubting them? So, I mean, I'm a little bit, taking it with a grain of salt is my only point.
I think you're brilliant right there, RJ, because Pop does come from that black ops stuff. He does have that military background. So he's throwing patience in every 3 seconds. I'll tell you, that's a very different tone than we heard back in September. Remember when training camp began, he's like, last year was about getting him. Now we got him. Let's go win. That's not been the case.
It's, again, I don't want to make things black and white and say it's a failure, but
it's a failure.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that obtuse in this moment because
obtuse.
I believe that Wemby would probably credit the process as to how he's and in an authentic way, but he is this good now. Like you're not just wasting one of the greatest rookie seasons in NBA history. You're wasting one of the greatest seasons that an individual player has offered in NBA history. And I don't even imply or insinuate that not winning an NBA championship is wasting, but like to have 11 wins on at the final game of the Rodeo Road Trip, that is a waste. That is a failure of cataclysmic and galactic proportions.
Dub T with a 5x5, and you can't even win. At 7:00, we'll talk about the ramifications of the Dub T 5x5. And if you continue to screw things up, do you finally pay the price? We'll talk about Keldon watching the game on Sunday night. Hey, coming back, though, there's trouble afoot in Denver. Is it Russell versus the Broncos? Looks like Russell Westbrook is going to go through his own smear campaign as he says he's the victim of one himself. Trouble in Denver and the salary cap in the NFL. Let's talk about it next. You have come to the right place, my friends, because this is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you awoke this morning feeling good about yourself. No brain fog, long evening of sleep. Ate well enough to wake up this morning, get in 15 good miles, do a couple burpees, and attack the day. If that's you, shut up and keep it to yourself. You're well ahead of most of us. But if you are not that type of person, I want you to listen close because I'm not that guy either. For the longest time, I didn't care about my diet, didn't care about much anything until the doctor started telling me it's time to worry. And then I realized, man, I've just gotten out of hand. My belts are big and my pants are bigger. If you've reached a point in life, it's time to lose weight, whether the doctor's telling you, the loved ones are telling you, or you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want you to call Dr. Jacob Torres over at the Institute for Functional Health. You've heard me talk about him for years. I've been going for 6 years. I will continue to go. I'm a patient for life because I've seen what he's done for me. A diet, yeah, that's something I guess you talk about. But once you get on a diet, how do you live with it? You're not going to stay on a diet forever, are you? Because I'm not on a diet. I changed my life. Lost about 80 pounds. Well, let's be real here. I'm about 73 pounds as of right now. That kind of varies, but it continues to go. If you're tired of feeling bad, I want you to call Dr. Torres. If it's time to lose weight, I want you to call Dr. Torres. If you have tried and failed like me, call Dr. Torres. He'll explain to you why he has been so successful with thousands of people just like you, because he combines science, the basic medicine of losing weight, with the ideas, a little bit of coaching, a little bit of modern ideas. And let me tell you, it worked for me. Call the number 210-468-1891. That's 468-1891. The website, iffhealth.com. Listen close. If it's time, it's time. Call Dr. Torres. He will help. The IFF changed my life. Let him change yours. And I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs play their final game of the Rodeo Road Trip. And speaking of Wemby, is there a case to be made that not only Rookie of the Year, but perhaps Defensive Player of the Year for the big fella? We'll talk about that. Plus, Shireen Williams will join us at 5:15. The NFL Combine is going on, the latest on the Cowboys. It's coming up on The Blitz.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you have failing or missing teeth? Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Mueller, Chief Oral Surgeon at Doctor's Implants.
I had missing teeth, I had crowns, I had partials.
There was no way I was going to walk into my bathroom every morning to see my teeth in a container.
At Doctor's Implants, replacing your teeth with full mouth dental implants might be the long-term solution you're looking for.
The 6-Hour Smile is a permanent full mouth teeth replacement. Your new smile will be custom designed to fit your face and lifestyle and will look and function just like regular teeth. You won't need to remove them from your mouth overnight, and you won't need adhesive to keep them in place. Eat freely and smile confidently again. Research them at doctorsimplants.com. Receive a complimentary doctor's consultation and CT scan when you call 210-640-0000. Again, that's 210-640-0000.
Home of the 6-Hour Smile.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. If you have downloaded the Prize Picks app and you're playing, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to those that think that there's something out of reach. If you want to play a game that your skill plays a role in, I want you to download Prize Picks because it's about more or less. It's not about winning and losing. Use your knowledge to pick out who is going to do the best and decide whether it's going to be more or less. A couple of clicks before you know it, you're playing the game. And it's all about the knowledge. Download Prize Picks. You'll see what I'm talking about. Basketball is in full swing. The tournament's just around the corner. There is no better way to apply your knowledge than Prize Picks. You know your guys. You know what they're capable of. Is it higher or lower? 2 or 3 clicks, more and more X's, more and more money. And if you download Prize Picks now and use the word Alamo in your promo code, there's $100 to play with. More or less, a couple of clicks, go do it. It's Prize Picks. Start playing today. Thank me later.
Progressive presents advice on new teen drivers.
You know, the hardest part about teaching your teen to drive is the chafing from the seatbelt. But the best part is the grip strength you build in your knuckles. Okay, now let's pull out of the driveway.
Here's another tip. Offset a chunk of the cost of adding a teen to your insurance with Progressive's Teen Driver Discount and get a break from the break. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
The way the NBA season is going in San Antonio, you need to find a way to add excitement to watching those games. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. The way to do that is by playing at Underdog at Fantasy. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing the Pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Select whether they will be higher or lower on stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up, use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent maracas smell amazing." You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
San Antonio is Aggie Country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. RJ Ochoa, Rob Thompson with you. Thanks for sitting in with us, and we'd like to congratulate you on your decision-making for you morning crew in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I'm going to give away some tickets to go see Hozier. You're a Hozier fan? You've been taken to church? I think that's the song I know of. Hozier is coming to our fair city in just a couple of months. He'll be here September the 24th at our beautiful Frost Bank Center on the Unreal Unearthed Tour. He'll be bringing along with him Allison Russell. You want to go hang around here in 5 minutes.
You say Russell?
Allison Russell. Old man Russell's girl?
I know, but you said Russell. We were talking about Russell.
That is a you know what? That is a transition the likes of which just flew right over my head. Russell Wilson, what a weird couple of years he's had, is on his way out of Denver. You know, there was during the Super Bowl, Sean Payton, his current head coach, said the decision with Russell will be made sooner or later. Russell Wilson sat down with Brandon Marshall, which is an incendiary combination, and I would think, in a podcast. And when asked about the situation he found himself, he told Brandon that his agent told him that what Denver had done as far as how they'd handled his contract was illegal according to the current NFL Players Association agreement with the league. And evidently that's not the case. But it just kind of shows me how kind of disconnected Russell is.
Russell is the the expression like, oh, that's the wrong guy to pick a fight with or whatever. Russell is the wrong dude to get into a public PR battle with, because if there's one thing that this dude is a grinder. I mean, there's, in a lot of senses, and I think his success on the football field is a great representation of that. But if anybody thought that Russell was going to let this story end with Russell being the failure and that being the narrative, they have no idea who Russell Wilson really is. I wouldn't call this a smear campaign that's unfolding, but Russell is out to reshape his image. And somewhat in his defense, he took a lot of crap throughout the course of the season, and let Sean Payton kind of write the book on the way all this was unfolding. And so he's getting an opportunity to do that. The nature of his contract is so that if and when the Broncos release him, all the guaranteed money from the extension that they signed him to when they first acquired him, which just now is beginning to kick in this coming season, Russell can sign with any other team for the vet minimum and help his new team out. And if the more money he agrees to terms with his new team takes away money that the Broncos owe him. So if you run the Raiders, it behooves Russ to come to you and say, "Hey, Rob, pay me the vet minimum. I'm guaranteed that money
screw him to
anyway."
the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Denver's writing that check.
Right.
Let's keep our cap space open as much as possible. And yeah, I screw them to the wall, and that helps me out. And I feel personal satisfaction. But we're also able to do more around us as far as our goals are concerned. And if it's the Raiders specifically, then it hurts the Broncos all the more.
That's why the Dak situation the Cowboys find themselves in is so interesting, because Denver's in a worse position. Not only are they on it, but they're going to have to pay for it too, no matter where it goes. So it is a worst case scenario. And I think Russell's doing it the way that most players would. What's so now that we have the salary cap, quarterbacks are worth right at 38. That's the tender number, right? Is that the franchise tag number?
I believe so, but Russ isn't subject to that.
No, I'm just saying. So if the average quarterback's going to get 38 million, at least the average of the top 5, and you can go get Russell for what, league minimum 12, 13 for whatever years he's got in. I mean,
yeah, and why not do that to help your new team out as much as possible?
Why wouldn't the Cowboys think? I know it's crazy, and I know it
is
but
crazy.
Why wouldn't a Cowboy at least in passing go, you know what?
Because you're watching this dude publicly break up with his team and go through all avenues of heartbreak to do it. Why do you want to get in bed with him? You know what I mean? Like, because this is a volatile situation. And even if you think he's a good player right now, when recent history suggests that he certainly isn't. I mean, this is, the Broncos have, I was thinking about this. The Jets have drama, and you're like, oh, that's fun and it's interesting, but like it's kind of par for the course, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm not shocked. I've seen a lot of drama from the Jets. This is strange to watch the Broncos. Generally this, buttoned up, well kept, Tiffany brand franchise, kind of proper sort of team. To watch them be all unorganized and loose and chaotic, it's it's the house down the street that you're like, them? They
haven't mowed their lawn in weeks.
Exactly. Like that kind of. He did what? And they and who?
But
went over?
I will tell you, RJ, your arguments about not chasing Russell had nothing to do with being on the field. The only thing you brought up was, we're taking over somebody else's drama.
He was an average quarterback at the best last year. Meanwhile, again, if you really want to try and relate this to Dak, he finished second in MVP voting. I mean, there are avenues worth considering and worth exploring, but Russell Wilson truly is not one of them. And that is just because of who Russell is as a player. The personality only further weighs him down as far as candidacy is concerned.
But I think we both agree that the guy still got something in the tank, and whoever he lands with is going to be better. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah, but because they have a long way to go. Like if Russ lands in Atlanta or Vegas, or I think what would be super interesting to see is, say he goes to the Giants. I mean, something like that would be really, just because they're kind of in a weird spot with Daniel Jones. The other thing is Russ likes attention. We know that, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Hey,
it's a brand.
Live your life. But he also, unlike most NFL players, has an extraordinarily famous wife who's famous in her own right. And so what other place for them to go kind of make their next mark as a power couple than New York? I mean, New Jersey.
They got a top, as Rudolph Gonzalez on our feed, one of our many very active morning crew. They're the toxic version of Swift and Kelsey.
Tarek says in the Brigade Bar, Wilson can win big games and Dak can't. Tarek, I'll give you 30 minutes to tell me the last big game that Russell Wilson won, and I know that you can't do it. So Russ was, a part of a team that won a Super Bowl early in his career, but he was literally the quarterback for one of the greatest defenses and run games of all time.
The NFL has gathered in Indianapolis to do something. Is this weekend is this pointless? What are we doing here? Let's talk about the combine as it begins in earnest today, coming up next. And Jerry's there, we think, or at least the bus is headed that way. Where's Mike and Mike? No, not the radio show, the coaches. We'll be right back. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you woke up this morning and washed yourself clean underneath a Kinetico water softener softened shower. Because if you did, you started your day the right way, like most of your neighbors. See, Kinetico, well, it's made in the United States. The design is absolutely appropriate to San Antonio and Central Texas. That limestone we bring our water through, boy, it makes for some fine sweet tea and some good light beer. But I'll tell you what, there's some stuff it leaves in the pipes. And while a water softener will take care of it, only a Kinetico can give you the long-term trust that a Kinetico can give. But let me tell you, it comes into your water full of stuff. By the time it reaches your mouth, it is ready to be drank by either you, your dog, your kids. You'll see the difference on your dishes. Let me tell you, San Antonio, if you don't have a Kinetico, you're just biding time, because eventually that stuff clogs up your pipes, and that's why there's so many plumbers around San Antonio. They have to come take care of it. Call Kinetico today. Find out what I and so many of your neighbors know, that Kinetico is the one for me, and I've got the last water softener I'm ever going to buy, and it's a Kinetico. If you call 656-PURE today, the Knippers will come out and put a water softener of Kinetico quality, a Kinetico water softener, in your home free of charge for 90 days. No commitment. Just find out what we know. 91 days past, you're going to be just like me. You're going to be a Kinetico customer, because you're going to find out everything I promise you is there. Head over to Kinetico's website today. It's KineticoSA.com. Sing it while you type it. It has all the details you need. But know this. 90 days for a Kinetico. You can't beat it. Call 656 today. Let the Knippers take care of you, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
This is Joe Reinagel from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Be caller number three to 656-3776, and you will be on your way. And while others are dialing, and while you are too, take the time to subscribe to this fantastic morning podcast. Make sure you're liking it, subscribing it on the regular basis. It's a good-looking Stanley you got going on there, RJ. What's the icy cold beverage of the day?
It's just water, but it's my Stanley. It's not your Stanley, which I hope is a lesson that you learned.
I haven't learned a lesson. And I know that there's another Stanley floating around someplace that will be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine.
Well, this one is mine, and you don't have one right now, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
I got one.
You know?
I got one. I just don't have the desert camo one like you have. The Synergenics.
I don't know how many ounces this is. I want to look it up because this is a lot of fluid to carry around.
It's too much. What we need to just go ahead and adopt, we're headed there anyway, is designer camelbacks. Now we're talking. Once we're all walking around with our own personalized fancy camelback, just the little hose right here, so you can just get a little something. No?
Did you ever have a camelback?
There's one in our house. I think there's a couple in our house. We camped. We're outdoorsy people.
Yeah.
So does the combine, are they running today? Are they working out today?
Today is a lot of meetings or a lot of media.
Oh, so it's media.
Not
today.
Quite there yet. Yeah.
So so the media is there. The players are there.
Right.
And tomorrow they start the individual workouts, right?
That's the schedule, but the most pertinent information that can be gleaned comes from the media availability. No disrespect to the athletes, obviously, but the combine has become so, I don't say watered down, but a lot of these guys just prefer to, obviously manage their own things at their own pro days and whatnot. It's really about players looking to take a leap in a round. You can go improve your stock if you're a lower round guy.
And that's really it. Those first rounders, they know who they are.
Well, I mean, they're not us.
We'll talk about the Cowboys and the extra money that they do have to spend in the next hour. But around the corner, we talk silver and black at 7 o'clock every day. And we're going to do it again coming up next.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs play their final game of the Rodeo Road Trip. And speaking of Wemby, is there a case to be made that not only Rookie of the Year, but perhaps Defensive Player of the Year for the big fella? We'll talk about that. Plus, Shireen Williams will join us at 5:15. The NFL Combine is going on, the latest on the Cowboys. It's coming up on The Blitz.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Dave Ramsey here for my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Kinetico uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Kinetico San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Kinetico in San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Kinetico quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on KineticoSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get ready. This week, Staples has deals so good, you're going to want to sit down. Are you sitting? I'll wait. Great. Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $180 on select chairs. That's up to $180 off desk chairs, up to $180 off computer chairs, and up to $180 off gaming chairs. So hurry into Staples now for the Staples Sit-a-thon and grab a seat or two. Ends 3/2. In-store only. See associate for details.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Hi, I'm Jade, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit is the savoriness of the sausage, the fluffiness of the egg, and the butteriness of the biscuit. It's amazing. The perfect start to my day.
Hi, everyone. It's Justin. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit is the fluffy egg, the melted cheese, and the sizzling sausage. It's the start to your morning that you didn't know you need.
Order a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit and Simply Orange juice on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Progressive presents advice on new teen drivers.
You know, the hardest part about teaching your teen to drive is the chafing from the seatbelt. But the best part is the grip strength you build in your knuckles. Okay, now let's pull out of the driveway.
Here's another tip. Offset a chunk of the cost of adding a teen to your insurance with Progressive's Teen Driver Discount and get a break from the break. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, and move again, pain-free. No pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. So take action now. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs looking to snap a 4-game losing streak and wrap up the Rodeo Road Trip tonight in Minnesota. They're taking on the Timberwolves. Tip is set for 7 o'clock. The Cowboys are not expected to franchise running back Tony Pollard, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter. World champion Texas Rangers won yesterday 4-2. The Detroit Tigers beat the Houston Astros 4-0.
Goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama. This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. RJ stays busy. He's also the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. We'll talk a lot of Cowboys this hour. Look around the NFL as well as the Combine is beginning in earnest. Lots of meetings and PR stuff today. Spurs playing tonight, winding up that long rodeo road trip, which might very well be coming to an end here pretty soon, next couple of years. If they get a new Frost Bank Center built, they might not have to travel all of February, as we can have Spurs and the rodeo together, maybe at some point in the future. But as we sit now, the what was the coming together, back in the day, the guys would gather around and pack a bag and leave for the month of February, come back ready to go win a title. That's no longer the case. We're hoping to win one of these road trip games against the Timberwolves. It won't be easy. That's a team that's really, really good. So, Coach Pop yesterday was sitting with Coach K, and we're going to get to some sound from him. But the weekend's basketball games were so exemplified where the Spurs are today, because as Wemby continues to improve, and I heard Joe in his promo, RJ, talking about today on the show, they're going to talk about not only is Wemby just about a lock, as Kendrick Perkins, he's about to join us. We got some sound from him. Says he's locked, and he's right as the rookie of the year. This dude is headed toward all NBA play.
What we're seeing is incalculable, right? I mean, this is we've found the new frontier, right? That this is uncharted territory, new land that Wemby's kind of conquering, and that's really exciting. And I agree. I think that there's definitely some defensive hardware in Wemby's future. I think it's really hard to make any argument for him this season. As silly as it is to say, it always boils down to the obtuse nature of, well, his team has 11 wins, right? And so it's really hard to kind of, outside of Rookie of the Year, which I think you're allowed to apply extenuating circumstances to. You can't really do that with any other award. He's a marvel. I mean, I don't even know what the best element of his game is. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can make an argument that it is his defensive prowess, but it's really difficult to ignore how efficient he is on the offensive side of the floor as well. Maybe his three-point shooting kind of weighs that down. And so
even that recently has been on the uptick. Right. Even that he's shoot over the last several games, he's upwards of 40%. So I put it to you, go if you want to encompass the entirety of the Spurs season, go watch the first 8 minutes, not even 8 minutes, 5 minutes of the Laker game on Friday night, because you'll get all the greatness that is Wemby, the block shots, the open court dribbles, the passing, the no looks, the bounces, the alley-oops. You get it all in about 4 or 5 minutes, everything that he is capable of bringing. And at the same time, You watch the other 4 Keystone Cops, I don't know what you want to call them, just stumble and bumble around. I'm so sick of watching turnover after turnover. And Wemby's a problem with this too. But I will allow that. Keldon got to sit and watch most of Utah on Sunday night. Keldon got the quick hook for things that occurred on Friday night and things that occurred quickly again on Sunday. Kendrick Perkins was on NBA Today. And I like Kendrick because there's no filter with Kendrick. If he doesn't like it, he tells you.
Stephen A., Shannon, Molly, we could go play alongside Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs and still have the same record. I mean, damn. If you look at this kid Sohan and what he's been doing out there on the floor, it's been an embarrassment, to be honest with you. And you can see the frustration all over Victor Wembanyama's face.
That is Kendrick Perkins on the Stephen A. Yesterday, I believe. He's right. I don't know about the anger and the frustration, but he's surrounded by, what's that song? Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
I guess.
Here I am stuck in the middle again.
I mean, it's one thing, to be bad, but it's another thing to put any human being in a situation where the only context they can apply is, I mean, damn. I mean, like
exactly. I mean, damn.
That's the only thing that you can say about this. And we've been saying this for a while now. I am not and have not really ever been mad at Jeremy. And I know you're a Blake stan, at Chetty, even at Devin, after the New Orleans loss. I'm not mad at them. This isn't their fault. But it's actually kind of, and I'll put Devin in his own special kind of area because he is emerging as a proper Robin for the future, at least, the immediate future. This is cruel. Like, it's actually mean to put all these players in this situation because it's the disparity, the gap is so obvious. You know what I mean? It's so obvious that people like Kendrick Perkins who have to talk about this, have to say this. They have to speak these uncomfortable truths. I mean, you're setting this entire roster up to look like yahoos because that's what they are compared to Wemby. And it's a really unfair position to put everybody involved in. And I will credit Wemby, as young as he is, for not having any kind of outburst because when I was that age, I was a lot more immature than he certainly seems to be. And I think a lot of people, at that age would definitely be a lot more selfish about what they're experiencing. And maybe he is in his own circle. And if so, that's totally healthy and totally normal. But this is just such a disaster in the way it's all unfolded. I mean, nothing about this is redeemable in my mind in terms of the process of how we got here.
A couple things from the weekend. Devin Vassell is still on a tear. Devin's hitting shots. I mean,
Robin.
And some of it very much is. But what they combined for the other night, it was like nearly 50 between the two. I mean,
I think Devin had 27 and maybe 22. So you're really close.
Yeah, right there. So that's kind of what we were chasing. But Devin, I get that he is he's under a lot of pressure to ensure that Wemby is the guy. And I can tell that he's trying to be that guy to make sure that when Wemby flashes and he's in the paint, that very first 2 passes of most of the plays they run, where they try to see if they can get a quick pin down for Wemby. And Wemby will come down and flash the paint. Normally the ball will have swung. If there's nobody coming, the idea is to get him fast, get the ball to him fast. I forget, it's not floppy, but for those of you who really study the plays, there's an entry that they seem to do in a lot of plays. Just a real quick Wemby look. If he flashes and he's open, get him the ball. Devin normally is the internal passer on that play and is always late. Always late. So they missed that first flash every time. Even if he's open or not, Devin can't put his hands around it, can't find the entry. It's being defended. So then we're having to throw 2 more passes to find somebody that's open or that is at least willing to take an adequate shot. And by that time, it'll dribble off Sohan's foot. Keldon will be, Keldon's not even in there anymore. Champagne will be standing over in the corner and they'll go, well, you're the last option, Cat, so we'll wait on you. And then there's a turnover. So I'm done with everybody. Keldon, I think they're done with Keldon. Post game on Sunday, no pop, but Mitch.
Cougs is asking in the chat in the Brigade Bar for your thoughts because you weren't here on Monday on Keldon getting benched after 4 minutes.
Well, I couldn't tell. I was watching the game with my fam, and we all looked at each. Is Keldon sick? Is he hurt? Well, post game, Pop wasn't speaking. I don't know if he didn't feel well or what, but Coach Johnson did.
Just repetitive mistakes. Sometimes you need to change up the messaging or change up the accountability or how you do things, and Pop's the best at it.
So Keldon got ripped. He got the hook. He sat and watched and deserved it.
No, you're way off base here. Maybe not way off base, but you're mostly off base. You have one. You're like about to steal. You know, like that's how minuscule amount of your body's touching the base. All right. I acknowledge that Keldon was in the wrong. Right. In a court of law, I'm fine with admonishing Keldon, but to act so high and mighty, like, oh, we're gonna yank you after 4 minutes, and you're not gonna see the floor the rest of the night. Get the hell out of here. Like, relax.
Why?
Dude, you got 11 wins. You're a joke, and now you want to take things
well, at
seriously.
Least now he's doing something.
No, but we've been watching sloppy basketball all season long, and all of a sudden on a random Sunday in Utah, enough was enough. You know what I mean? Like, if this had been who you were, if you were this militant style team all throughout this entire season, where somebody took one toe out of line and you came down on him and you yanked him and you pulled him, whatever, fine. At least you're being the same person from start to finish. But this came out of nowhere. I mean, and I don't necessarily mean Keldon's play. Nobody's going to defend Keldon right now. That's separate from the point. But they used Keldon as a scapegoat or as an example to see, we'll do it. You go out, you piss us off, we'll totally pull you. I mean, like,
well, who better?
It was such a joke. It's such a hollow thing. Like, nobody thinks like, remember when you were growing up and somebody would get in trouble in your class and the teacher would be like, and like the hair on your arms would stand up, be like, oh God,
right, here it goes.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not me. You know what I mean? Nobody thought that. Nobody was like, oh no, Keldon got, oh man, I better straighten up. I better run the secret plays that we installed after the All-Star break, because if not, I could totally get yanked and not be a part of our 12th win here in the final week of February. There's really some serious repercussions that are going to fall all over me. Chill out. Come back to us. I mean, this was such a weakly, arrogant thing to do as a franchise.
I'm of the better late than never. Bench them all, man. I don't want to win a game.
That's what I'm saying. Like being pissed off at Keldon Johnson isn't fair to Keldon. That's who this is your design. You know what I mean? Like you can't like buy poor groceries and then be like, this meal stinks that I prepared. That was your fault. Like, you're the person who did everything involved here.
At least he's deciding to leave one or two of the ingredients out periodically. And I do think a message was sent, and it might be way overdue. Hey, Keldon got benched, man. He got fully yanked, and it was evident, it was apparent, and everybody knew it.
Do you think anybody is even 1% more afraid of anything as a result of that? No.
Well, I do think that Malachi Brenham is seeing an opportunity to get some minutes, because as McBucket has gone, Malachi's gotten some more, and I will say he's kind of playing himself out of the doghouse. And if he continues to play like that, then suddenly maybe he can eat into some of those Keldon minutes that we have to have. Did you see the dunk that Malachi had on LeBron the other night? Yowza, man. So I think there's some benefit, and I don't think Keldon would have been benched, but for Malachi playing a little bit better. And we know that Blake, not that they're playing the same position, but some of these bench guys are playing better. On the other side of stuff, let's talk about who's not. Zach Collins. Holy smokes, dude. Bring your light shoes. It looked like he was running around in combat boots in Utah. That guy looked exhausted.
Steel toes. It's also pointless. You know what I mean? Like, we're splitting hairs on Zach Collins and Keldon Johnson. I mean, how many of these dudes are going to be here next year? You know, and I say that as respectfully as possible, right? You know, and that's we're at the point of frustration and in the middle of this rut that now we're just, turning to anybody. You know what I mean? Anybody within arm's reach is capable of being the fall guy for it all. and we're just gonna get mad at any single person that just even looks at us the wrong way, or that we just feel an inkling of frustration towards. And so, okay, cool, you're right. He was slow. What else? I mean, like, what else could that really hurt? That was the difference. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right. It wasn't the difference, but he just really has seemed, as the season has gone on, that his
he
frame,
was your guy for a little while.
his style does not match the kind of offense that Pop wants to run. He is not the guy. You might have been before Wemby got here, but it just doesn't. It feels like everything changes as soon as Zach comes in here, and it's not for lack of effort. I think he's trying. It's just the system ain't going to match up very well. Tonight they head into Minneapolis to take on, what are they, 40-17, the Timberwolves.
They're tied for the best record in the West, and they have a score to settle based on the last time that we played them.
Yes, they do. That's the last time I remember good things happening for the Spurs. But before I forget, those Utah purple unis the other night looked pretty good, didn't they?
I told Joe this. Did you see Jeff McDonald's tweet about the name of the Wi-Fi at the? I think it's the Delta Center.
It is. Well, it was. I don't know what they call it now, but
but Jeff's tweet said Delta. So I mean, I don't
it
know.
Might still be the Delta
changed,
Center.
But,
It used to be the Salt Palace, now Delta Center. What is it?
But do you know what the name of the Wi-Fi is there?
Stockton sucks. What? I don't know.
It's Jordan pushed off. So yeah, that was really, really funny.
That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so good for them. But you're right, the purple unis are sick, and I don't know why we ruin great uniforms and great logos. Ryan sent a tweet this morning. Biggest NBA team logo downgrades. Did you see the Clippers' new uniforms?
You know, there's a whole. I read a great article yesterday on the rebranding of the Clippers.
Yeah, it was all about like what even is a Clipper and everything. Yeah,
it's a ship, right? I know it's a ship, but you know, they started out in San Diego, and as Ballmer is building a new building and bringing the Clippers into their own particular era there in Los Angeles, the rebranding of the Clippers. It's a very interesting story to read as they pick out new logos and all the things that go into building a team. The Timberwolves themselves have their own MVP candidate, and while he doesn't have the. He's the old school dominant big guard, just going to go get buckets. 26 a game. He's shooting 47% from three, or 37% for 38% from three, 40% from the field. Anthony Edwards is indeed everything that you're looking for in the modern big guard. Spurs have absolutely nothing like that. We got nothing that even begins to even compete with what Anthony Edwards does. But we do have a Rudy Gobert-esque guy. That Rudy's been hurt. I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but there is a little bit of that, that French mentor-mentee kind of stuff going on. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Keldon. He only got 4 minutes the other night. We just talked about him getting yanked, and Coach Johnson postgame was a little upset with repeated efforts to get him to do something that he evidently did not.
I mean, what a joke.
It'll be the fourth. It'll be the last time we see the Timberwolves this year.
I mean, thank goodness the Rodeo Road Trip is over. Not that, we expected more, but I mean, because they're not going to win tonight. But you agree?
Well, we played well against them. They're,
okay.
There's nothing that has shown me over the last couple of games that they can string together anything more than about 4 or 5 minutes of really good basketball. So no, I don't expect them to do it. But a lot of times this is Minnesota. On a Tuesday night, this is the kind of game that anybody who's been watching film on the Spurs ain't going to be coming in ready to just lay one down. They're not scared of them by any stretch. So now you rely on the doldrums of February.
The Spurs are the second biggest underdogs of the day across the NBA slate. The Hornets are 14.5-point favorites in Milwaukee. Meanwhile, the Spurs are underdogs. The Spurs are 13-point dogs.
One of the great things about watching us live is you can talk to us directly, whether you want to call us at 656-3776, 656-ESPN, or you can text us at that number. You can get on the scroll at our YouTube feed. And Esteban Ramon types, should we have traded Keldon while his value was high? His value is no lower today than it was before he got benched. Keldon Johnson is exactly who Keldon Johnson is. And whether he gets benched or whether he gets moved around, it isn't. Film don't lie. And if he gets benched, we're suddenly not lessening his value. Every NBA GM understands that it takes a player and a coach and a team and the melding of everything to work out. And Keldon is exactly who Keldon was when he signed the extension. The problem is, I think that's what Keldon was when he signed the extension. I think he is a happy guy to have completed a good run. I mean, his whole goal since he was a sophomore to sign in high school was to sign the second NBA deal, to go get the tens of millions. And he's done it. And he's playing like it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pride in that, certainly.
Oh, success. But not for us.
Cougs asked in the Brigade Bar, we've won more. You mentioned like you could ask questions or things like that. Cougs said we've won more on the road than at home, right? Rob, I have I've tabulated the numbers of the Spurs' grand total of 11 wins this season. How many do you believe have occurred on the road?
4.
That's your official guess?
I thought it was less, but I must be wrong. I thought it was 4.
Consider me Regis. Final answer?
It is my final answer.
6.
6.
6 of the 11 wins have been on the road. 5 times this season, the Spurs have won at home. That's just so sad. I mean, it's just like I knew that to be true, but it's just so sad.
And it's so funny that when you see the legendary coaches sit down, there's a podcast yesterday. Coach Popovich sat down with Coach Krzyzewski. It's called the Buy a Vowel podcast. No, I don't know what the name of the podcast is, but Pop has had to completely recalibrate what he was saying at the beginning of the year to what he's saying now are two entire. This is what he was saying last year without Wemby. Now we're back to it. Listen to what Pop said about the process of getting Wemby up to NBA speed, because like everybody else, he's never seen anything like this.
We came to the conclusion that the process in the beginning would be no process, that we just watch him play and try to figure out what's his abilities and what's his natural positions on the floor where he feels most comfortable, and where does he need improvement.
Coach Pop yesterday talking with Coach patience and we preach patience. But do we think what after all these games do we know about Wemby? That, as Pop says, we're just going to watch him play and we're going to figure out what he's really good at. Do we know that yet? Do you have an idea?
I mean,
I'm not being facetious. Have you seen something you go, you know what? We need to do more of this.
I mean, this is a generality, but I think the ball needs to be in his hands. Like you know what I mean? The ball, this isn't like a learned thing, but everything needs to flow through him, which is why we were pissed when it wasn't, earlier this season. And what a surprise that, flowing through him makes things a lot better and more competitive. And so, I mean, if the purpose of the season, and I am in no way trying to doubt Pop, and I know that this is one statement, but if the purpose of the season was let's watch him play basketball and see how good he is, that kind of feels like a really ridiculous way to go about this.
It is massive cop-out. Are you kidding me? Our process is no process? I got no plans. We're just going to go out and wing it. You know what? And on top of just having no plans, I'm going to go take a guy who's not good at anything particular in Jeremy Sohan and make him a point guard. Because we found out last year he can't shoot, but he made up with it with his inability to figure out how to dribble and get to the lane, get into the rim. So we're going to make him a point guard, and we'll see. We're just going to watch things as they shake out.
Did you watch the Barbie movie, Rob?
I hate to say I have not seen the Barbie.
It's really good. But there's a point in the movie where Ken wants to go perform surgery. And in his Ken brain, he says, well, just talk to whoever you need to. So let me try. And that's kind of like I feel about what Pop said. Like, let me just try some surgery. You know what I mean? Let me see what I'm good at. Maybe I'm a heart surgeon. Maybe I'm, maybe I'm maybe I'm more of a teeth guy. You know what I mean? But let me just try some. Let me cut something up and sew some stitches, and let me see what surgery I'm good at. That makes sense. That's the way we should go about it.
Hey, coming back, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. The running back market is chock full of goodness. If you want to spend just a little bit of money for a little bit more than a draft pick, are the Cowboys doing things the right way? As Adam Schefter told us yesterday, does not look like the Cowboys plan on franchising Tony Pollard again. A lot of money and a lot of running backs. Let's talk Cowboys as the I was going to say it. I won't do it. As the combine is beginning in earnest up in Indianapolis, the NFL's takes center stage, and the Cowboys always have the spotlight on. We're coming back with them next. Stay with us. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Boost Mobile here with a great deal to keep you connected and help you make the most of your tax refund. When you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G smartphones, like the Samsung Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. We're here to bring you the best phones on America's largest 5G networks, so you can get after it. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store for 4 lines and 4 phones for $100. Visit boostmobile.com for details. New customers only. Requires auto pay and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating dealers for details.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Hello, this is Chip with Diamond J Properties. You're invited to our coastal waterfront grand opening this Saturday, where you can get 2 acres with bay access for only $49.9. That's right, 2 acres bay access for only $49.9. This coastal waterfront community has over 4 miles of water frontage with access to the ICW, Gulf, Matagorda Bay, and much more. Property features paved roads, underground utilities, boat launch, pier, pool, cabana, and more. This property is shown by appointment only. Call now, 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinigle here. Coming up on the Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs wrap up the Rodeo Road Trip tonight. Let me ask you this question. We figure he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but is there a case to be made for Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year? We'll talk about that. Plus, the NFL Combine is going on. Shereen Williams from Pro Football Talk will join us at 5:15 to talk all things Dallas Cowboys. Hey, RJ, did you miss our little cuddle this morning?
Well, it's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1.
Joe's a great guy and good friend, and it was nice of him to stop by yesterday and cuddle up with us here on the Morning Huddle. And I will say, Rob, I'll let you know, he took some shots at Whataburger in his grievances, and that left a sour taste in my mouth.
Well,
so
it's easier to take shots now than it used to be. I'd take great umbrage, but
that was kind of
those
the
angry
genesis
letters
of the point
that you write to Whataburger now go to Chicago instead of Corpus or here. So they're not what they were. But who is? You know what I mean? Who really is at the end of the day? I'm just going to throw it out here. If the Cowboys do not sign a high-end running back or draft one in the first 2 rounds, I'm ready to fire the general manager.
That seems like
I'm already ready to fire him. I'm just giving you another reason. As I watch this running back crop unfurl, and I see Derrick Henry, and I see Saquon, and now I see Austin Eckler, and I know Jacobs is kind of out there. These are 4 backs that have proven over time that given the opportunity, they will be successful. And I have no reason to doubt that any one of these 4 can rush for 1,500 yards and give you 8 to 10 touchdowns if given the opportunity. And you'd be crazy not to go spend the limited amount of money that you're going to have to spend to go get what is really 5 years ago. These are $30 million guys.
$30 million.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the highest paid echelon of this position. You have 4 of them floating around that you're going to get for about a third of what their value was just a couple of years ago.
Okay, so Tony Pollard finished, and nothing is ever about one statistic.
The truth.
Tony Pollard finished the highest of all these rushers in terms of yardage on the ground last year. He barely hit 1,000 yards, had 1,005. Saquon had 962. Looking for your boy Austin Eckler, who you spoke incredibly passionately about.
I'm a fan.
He finished with fewer rushing yards than Zeke Elliott last year. Now, granted, he only played in 14 games. He is not necessarily a reliable player in that respect. Josh Jacobs, let's see here. Where is Josh Jacobs? I've lost him in the fold of all this. I'm sorry, I overlooked him. He finished with 805 rushing yards. Dude, I mean, I'm like, there's just no reason to do this.
Why? Explain to me why exactly we think that we can go draft or free agent our way out of the situation we found ourselves.
I don't know that it's a situation, though. I think that that's a dramatic spin on this. I think that we have diluted this conversation to say running backs don't matter. That's not a fair characterization. What is a fair characterization is, generally speaking, there are always exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, running backs are not positions worth devoting serious resources or serious capital towards. If you look at, again, if we want to stick with this particular measurement, rushing yards last year, the exceptions to the rule, Christian McCaffrey had 1,459 rushing yards last season, the very, very clear exception. Derrick Henry had 1,167 rushing yards last year. He is 29 years old at the moment, so you're talking about now getting north of that proverbial hill. Outside of that, Kyren Williams, 3rd, literally brand new player in the NFL. James Cook, DeAndre Swift, his first season with the Eagles. James Conner, weirdly kind of an exception, has kind of had a weird productive, career. The point is that you can find, generally speaking, with average capital players who can, I don't want to say suffice, but who can be very, very, very good. So if you want to go out and you want to draft a running back on even day 2, you want to spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick that's a little rich for my blood, but still you're an early day 3 pick, although you don't have a 4th round pick because it was so important to trade for Trey Lance. But still, you want to draft somebody? Fine. You want to pair him with one of these veteran running backs? By all means, I'm good with that. But I am in no way interested in signing anybody like this and giving them the ball, I don't know, something like 250 times, because it's just not going to work out. It's a young man's game at the position. That's an unfortunate reality and a result of the attrition of playing in the NFL. And I'm not even opposed to that veteran, compliment being Tony Pollard. I mean, because the fact that all of these running backs are going to be on the market would suggest that market rate is going to be significantly lower than the franchise tag value.
Yes.
So if you can get somebody for $5 million, a nice 2-year, $5 million a year deal for one of these guys, by all means. But that's the cap as far as what I'm willing to pay.
I think if you have an opportunity to go get somebody who brings a skill set that is above and beyond the average, that is more than you could have even thought you could get before. And even though it might be a little bit more out of your budget than you expected, it is still a bargain. And I think when I look at Saquon, if you can get this kid in for $10 million, that franchise number, the number that you're used to spending already, if you can get it for $12 million.
When was the last time you bought a TV?
Let's see. It's probably been about 4 or 5 years.
So over the weekend, I went with my in-laws to get my mother-in-law a smartwatch. She was in the market for a smartwatch.
Mm-hmm.
I actually texted you and asked you about yours.
Yeah.
And when we were there, we walked. I mean, how could you not walk past an 85-inch television? There were actually 5 different brands of 85-inch televisions. How much do you think that they were going for? 85-inch televisions.
800.
You're very close.
Yeah.
You didn't go over, so you are eligible for the showcase. $850.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what running backs are. Like, you're almost kind of like,
but you can get the 4K super refresh 500 yada 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 in Saquon, or I can also get another 85 that most of the time works, but when I start watching those movies, it gets a little jittery. Or if I start watching something with a few flashes, it won't keep up. Most of the time it's good, but when I really want it, when I've really invested the money for the 85 big time, and I'm watching Tom Cruise jump his motorcycle off into the abyss, and I get a little bit of the vibrate, that's the difference between Saquon and Pollard. And I would rather spend a little bit more money, so when the big time events, the playoff games, the things that matter, I don't get I get the straight up feed. And I think if you have the chance to go get a Barkley, and he's the only one I'm putting in this category. I don't say the same about Derek. I don't say the same about Eckler. Jacobs is close. But the guy that I look at and go, he's a difference maker. Given the opportunity, he could provide me 2 or 3 games of McCaffrey-esque stuff. And if maybe 3 of those carries means touchdowns that I hadn't gotten before, and that might mean 2 other wins, it's worth it to me. I say you're crazy if you let somebody else and go get a down market Saquon. Even if it's more than your budget said, it's still far less than what he's worth.
I think I agree with John Dyer in the Brigade Bar. Says Rob knocked this TV analogy out of the park. That's what I like a dad setting up the little kid taking T-ball swings. I just lobbed it up, Rob, and you just I agree with the thought. There's nobody I'm willing to stand for that much. Like if you because I think that logic holds true. If there is a exceptional talent on the board, if there truly is somebody you say, I am willing to pay, above the surplus value because there is a surplus of stock and they're all going for this price. But I'm willing, instead of the $850, I'm willing to pay $1,000 because I believe that it's worth that tiny extra difference for that moment, for that Tom Cruise movie. I just don't feel like Saquon is that guy.
And he's close. And you're right. And why is that? Let's go. Let's address that. Why? Because that guy 3 years ago, holy cow. That guy
3 years ago, he was brand new, and that's the reality of this. I mean, not even 3 years ago. At that point, there was he had that phenomenal rookie season. Then he got hurt. You know what I mean? Different, this, that, or the other. And so it just has never really worked. And the position is so dependent on so many other circumstances. So you're right. If there were somebody out there, I'm with you. You know what? You're right. Let's just pay a little bit more right now, and we will be very happy when we watch the select things that we want to have that quality for. But the parts involved here are really interchangeable in my mind. That's why I'm like, you know what? All 5 brands are $850. Pick one. You know what I mean? Pick the one you like the most, and we're good. So and that's what this is ultimately going to come down to. I'm not saying don't sign anybody on the open market in free agency, but it's probably going to be one of these guys. And if you want to pair them with somebody else, You know what I mean? To go with it. Like I said, you want to get a brand new player in the draft and have yourself a nice little committee. Great. Let's do that. That's the right way to go about this. But you do not want to be paying serious money because you're just coming off of paying Tony Pollard $11 million for the franchise tag. And this presents, back to the TV analogy, you mentioned it was about 4 years ago. You're not quite in line for a new TV yet, but there's nothing like when you are in line for a new thing. And it's a refresh. The Cowboys are about to refresh their running back room for the first time in almost a decade. And I know that sounds like a dramatic way to put it, but it's the truth. A year ago, they said goodbye to Zeke Elliott, obviously, but they had Tony Pollard in tow. Tony Pollard had been there at that time for 3 years, 4 years. And so it was when they drafted Zeke. And that was the worst possible way. And Zeke was a wonderful player for the Cowboys, but they spent the most premium draft asset that they've had in forever on the most devalued position relative to, evaluation from an asset perspective. And so the last time they went at this and they were like, let's kind of gather a hodgepodge of running backs and put it together that way was 9 years ago in 2015 when they had let DeMarco Murray walk in free agency to the Philadelphia Eagles. They had Joseph Randle, who was entering his third season in the NFL at that point, and they signed Darren McFadden. So they had the young guy and they brought in Darren McFadden.
And McFadden had him a year.
Well, Joseph Randle couldn't hang.
Well.
And, there's a lot to that. Yeah. And so then McFadden was able to, absorb the lion's share of the carries, and he turned in 1,000-yard season.
Had him a year.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, Darren McFadden was an awesome TV. You know what I mean? Like, he was a great TV. So it wouldn't have been worth paying, the extra money then. And that's not to say every situation is apples and apples and apples, but in this particular instance, because of the surplus of players who were available, I think you're fine just kind of spinning the wheel with whatever brand you want, as long as they're all the same price.
Now, I do take some solace in an interview that we had, you and I. He gave you a pillow. I didn't get anything. When Pollard sat down with us at the Super Bowl. And he said he didn't feel right until Carolina. So what if that is in fact true, and the powers that be know what a fully functioning Tony Pollard is, and quite frankly, it's been a minute since we saw it. Maybe if he comes in and if Pollard said, I'll take exactly what I took last year.
Bye.
If he said, I'll take $8 million.
Bye.
So even at 8, it's too much. Okay. So I wanted to get where you are. So there's no way Pollard comes back.
Maybe I could be coerced into a 1 year, $8 million deal. You want to come back for $8 million, Tony? Okay, we're kind of getting the band back together anyway. You could be the violinist in the yellow card. You know what I mean? We need that. We've already got the guitar and the bass and the drummer and everything, but we need the violinist.
I watched enough of Texas football to know that Brooks can play. They're what's his name? Jonathan Brooks, who's listed as the number one running back in the draft by a lot of different services.
There's a lot of people who like Blake Corum from Michigan.
And Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Bucky Irving out of Oregon, which I like a little bit as well. That esteemed guy out of Notre Dame. I'm seeing 4 or 5 guys, depending on the type of back you like, kind of rotate through. I don't know. If Atlanta drafts him, he's probably pretty good. They seem to keep finding running backs. They've got 4 or 5. So
that's what I'm saying. Spin 2 wheels here. Spin the draft wheel, spin the veteran free agent wheel, and
I just
let it land on any one of these.
The premise to me is if you have the opportunity to maybe pay a little bit more than you wanted to at the position, but you get a running back the ilk of Saquon, or maybe you're chasing, it ain't that kind of back that I want, but I do want the comfort of knowing if I'm within 5 yards, I got the built-in tush push that is Derrick Henry. Maybe that's all we're looking for here is the guaranteed yard that Philly had the entire season of knowing that they were playing a 4-down football. Maybe that's enough, and Derek might be that, whether he gets 1,000 or not, but I know he's going to give me 3 every time I hand him the ball. That might be enough, depending on where this offense is going. But the market is down, and if you don't take advantage of down markets, it's very difficult to make money at all. You have to make it money. You have to make your money when other people are losing theirs.
What is your expression about the blood, about property? Remind me, like when
there's blood on the streets, buy the land around it.
That's kind of what this is, and that's what I'm saying. But there's so many of these guys, and again, they're all relatively interchangeable. Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler. You know what I mean? If any one of these dudes winds up a Cowboy for $6 to $8 million, contingent upon some context, even $8 million feels a bit rich. It's a win. especially if you are pairing them with a young up-and-comer that you've drafted, whatever. Because I don't think the Deuce Vaughn thing was fun for like 15 minutes. And, you know,
it was interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of over now. But you need that kind of plan for the future. So
like when I described to my kids, I'm sorry to interrupt, when I talk about Cowboys lore with my boys, and they're like, well, there was a time when the Cowboys had this quarterback named Quincy Carter. And they go, who? What? There was a time when the Cowboys rolled out a starting running back that was 5'3". Who? What?
He had a Roku documentary all about him and his journey.
He was 5'3".
That story was so much fun. And if we were just kind of trapped in that moment, you know what I mean? For like 3 months. And and it was like his dad,
this guy
works for the team
and he's good.
This is gonna be awesome. And so again, draft a player, sign a veteran running back, and that's great, but you've got to be smart about it. And the market allows you to be kind of picky, because there are a lot of dudes and they all know that, and they're probably going to wait it out. It's smart for them to wait for the right situation, because if they can't get the bag, at the very least they can put themselves on teams that are going to have success. Consider that Dalvin Cook waited until training camp last year to sign with the Jets, and granted that didn't work out, but obviously it didn't for reasons that he couldn't have foreseen.
I've watched this league long enough. I'll tell you this: somebody going to jump out and overpay one of these guys, because they want to be first and they want to guarantee. There's going to be a team that's going to jump out. And while we say overpay, they see the market just like I do. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next, like Saquon signs in the next month, if in fact released and all that, for like 12 and a half for 3 or 4 years. Somebody going to jump in, and then the next back will go for 8, because everybody else is going to go, well, if that's the rest, I'm staying away. And then we'll see.
Those are teams that are in positions to spin, because like Pledge did a great video for our social channels talking about how, you know, like most people, he wouldn't advocate for spending running backs, but you look at the position the Texans are in, they're ripe with cash. You know what I'm saying? Like, like go now. Like I think as another example, this is somewhat related. It's more of a tangent, but I think the Indianapolis Colts should consider placing the franchise tag on Michael Pittman Jr. And I don't think that Michael Pittman Jr. is that good, but they have the cash to burn, because they have Anthony Richardson on a rookie contract. You have to soup things up when your quarterback is cheap, because at a certain point, your quarterback's going to make something like $60 million, and then it gets a lot more difficult. And so teams like that are just in different, more unique circumstances. And hopefully, from a financial perspective, players like Saquon or whoever are able to benefit from that and take advantage of that.
Hey, coming up, excuse me, Russell Wilson is about to burn the Broncos down. It's getting ugly in the Rocky Mountain City. We'll talk about what's going on and how this affects the rest of the league, because this is a quarterback that you could get for league minimum. Yeah, we're going to talk about how that works coming up next, as Russell and Sean Payton are going at it. It's like Yellowstone in the NFL. We're talking about it next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs play their final game of the Rodeo Road Trip. And speaking of Wemby, is there a case to be made that not only Rookie of the Year, but perhaps Defensive Player of the Year for the big fella? We'll talk about that. Plus, Shireen Williams will join us at 5:15. The NFL Combine is going on. The latest on the Cowboys. It's coming up on the Blitz.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death, accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyer4us.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyer4us.com.
Joel, it's fantastic to be a local business here in San Antonio.
Sure is, Nigel.
We always say, from the outhouse to the penthouse, we can plumb it and we can cool it.
And all that at a fair price with one easy phone call to 210-651-5899.
See, Joel, I told you I could do it without clowning around.
So what's with the red nose?
You can let go now. That's not funny.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, DACLA 000743445E.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Tonight at 5:45, it's college basketball, Wisconsin and Indiana, on your home for March Madness, 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
We are San Antonio Sports Star, and we are above and beyond that. The Morning Huddle, RJ and Rob with you. Thanks for joining us Tuesday. Hump Day edition tomorrow. This week's flying by. The world is, well, the NFL world's gathering in Indianapolis. Today, media day, lots of stuff going on peripheral, but the guys aren't going to start running around until tomorrow. As that goes on, this is such an interesting story coming out of Denver because, you know, it's funny to watch as Sean Payton got there, and the combo of Payton and Russell Wilson could this style of quarterback, an older established guy, and Sean Payton get along. Didn't work out at all. There's a team out there that's going to get a Russell Wilson to be their starting quarterback and only have to pay him about $10, $12, $13 million. That's going to happen.
Yeah, so Russell's money with the Broncos is guaranteed for 2024. And the way this element of contracts works in the NFL is any team that signs Russ, pick a team, let's call it the Falcons. As the Falcons pay Russell more, that diminishes what the Broncos have to pay him because Russ is guaranteed that money. You know, it prevents him from double dipping, if that makes sense. Unless the Falcons decide to pay him, even more than he's on the books for.
So you said Falcons,
right? That's just an example. Making the Falcons up is a hypothetical team for Russell, and so it would behoove Russell in this hypothetical to say, "Hey, Falcons, I'm joining you. The goal is to win the Super Bowl. I'll take the least amount of money possible from you so we can use the cap space to surround me with talent because I'm making this money anyway. Let's let the Broncos foot the bill, and let's not have to worry about it ourselves here in 2024.
That's if the Broncos do indeed release Russ.
They have to release him. That's
but
why
it does appear they're headed that way.
Well, there's thought that, they would agree to a trade of him, with, considering his approval. But if you're Russell, why would you do that?
Right.
I mean, it would help the Broncos and it would hurt your new team. And he has a no trade clause, so he would have to veto that if things did go that way. He would literally be doing that out of the kindness of his heart.
Let me ask you a question. Could this be as big a move as it would have been last year if Aaron Rodgers would have been healthy? Can we have the same kind of, if Russell arrives someplace, can they immediately start saying Super Bowl possible? Is he past that?
I think you can consider yourself a playoff team potentially. I mean, it's worth wondering. Everything associated with the Broncos lately has been so bad that it's fair to say it wasn't all Russ. And so buy low. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't have to pay a lot of money, buy low in the here and now. And you never know. I mean, it's going to be, if you're the Falcons or the Raiders, it's going to be better than what you have going on. So why not? Let's get weird.
I think it's going to get weird, at least in Denver, as the fire has begun. Hey, on the other side of this phenomenal break with wonderful sponsors, we're talking Spurs. Can they break the schneid on the Rodeo Road Trip? That's next.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. I gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistent scent, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. Yeah. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
We're honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Friday at our Bourbon and Brews Party. Head over to Twin Peaks Fridays from 5 to 7 and experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Cheers!
Due to phenomenal demand, the tour continues. Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2024. Live in San Antonio. Frost Bank Center, September 24th. With special guest, Allison Russell. Get tickets this Thursday at noon at Ticketmaster.com. The new album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit Hosier.com.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent maracas smell amazing." You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
I'm a lawyer for you. I've helped you.
Yes, he has, and many others here in San Antonio. And that's why I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you today about what happens when you get into an accident.
It's overwhelming for everybody involved. You have this paralysis of what to do next, who to talk to, how do you get medical care, or you're in the hospital and who's going to pay for this? It's this swirl of anxiety, and many times it's even worse than the injury itself. You have to help people through that situation. And I tell every client the same thing. Don't worry. I've got this. I will take care of this. Just worry about your family. Just worry about getting healthy. If I can do that for you and maximize your recovery, you stay in business, you keep clients. And for 30 years, I've kept every client I've ever had. I don't lose clients. I represent their family and friends because that's how seriously I take my job.
A lawyerforus.com. You can find him at 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's good!
Your home for Major League Baseball. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys are not expected to get running back Tony Pollard the franchise tag that he played under last year, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter. Pollard recorded 1,005 yards and 6 touchdowns on 252 carries last year. In the NBA, the Spurs look to snap a 4-game losing streak and end the Rodeo Road Trip on a high as they take on the Timberwolves tonight. The tip is set for 7.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Here we are. It is the Morning Huddle. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Please watch us live. We combed our hair and everything for you. How do you do that? You can go to our YouTube channel. That's easy. We are San Antonio Sports Star. This is the Morning Huddle. Make sure you are subscribed appropriately. Be a notey. Put a thumb on it. Do all the stuff that are appropriate for you to do. And while you're there, if you haven't signed up to play golf, you better go ahead and do it. We're playing on March the 25th. It'll be at the Golf Club of Texas. It should be a good time had by all. If you're watching the screen, you see all the stuff on there. We want to thank the good folks over at Flight by Ying. Hey, we're running out of time, and you're running out of space. We're under 5 teams. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you this. We will be sold out. We always are. Go to sasportsstart.com for all the deets. If you're watching us live, you can use your QR code scanner, and it'll just pop right there if you use your scanner thing, which is one of those things I'm greatly appreciative of. For a while, I wasn't happy with the QR code in the modern world, how we had to use it everywhere we went. But now, I'm kind of down with it. It's I'm with it. I want to have my own personal QR code tattooed on my arm. So when we meet each other, you just like, pop, there's scan it.
That is literally possible. Like we could.
I've seen people with it.
It could like open your social profiles.
Yeah.
And, your email. It's like, hey, what's your contact information?
It's kind of like when dogs meet each other, they sniff each other's butts. Now you can just like, just it's the equivalent of sniffing a dog's butt. I didn't think we'd go there, but that's where
great way to put it.
That's finally how we got here. Good morning, 1991 Freedom Ride. I don't know what that is, but we are glad you're with us. He forgot his cell phone, so he's watching us on YouTube. You lucky devil. RJ took a shower for you.
I'm not a morning shower because I clean myself at night. I'm not one of these.
No, RJ is the cleanest human being you're ever going to be around. No worry on no bugs on him. None.
I mean,
no, there's you are a cleanly type. I, on the other hand, go to bed with my daily dirt.
That's disgusting.
I do, and I take great pride in it.
Good for you, Rob.
Spurs have been on the road for quite some time. Only the long rodeo road trip, only broken up by that brief sojourn up to Indianapolis, the center of the sporting universe, evidently, as the NFL has taken up those hotel rooms that the NBA had just so recently ago. They're going to close down this rodeo road trip, and it has been utterly unfulfilling. It has been just a further exhibition of, and more obvious where the Spurs are. But as bad as a lot of the guys have looked, and some have improved, Wemby, on the other hand, has been astounding. The 5x5 is now going to be a regular thing. That's 5 boxes with 5 or more of each stat. That is one of those things that only happens like every 6 or 7 years. Wemby's going to do it every night. The 5x5 is coming. Rookie of the year, it's done. Go ahead and grade the trophy. And it's now time to start talking about defensive player of the year.
I don't know that he's eligible for it, not in a literal sense, but I don't know that I could see it happening this year for Wemby, but it's definitely in his future. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's among the best defensive players in the NFL, but when it comes to things like this, you have to play the game, right? And Wemby's not in a position to win defensive player of the year, even if you think he really is, defensive player of the year. It's just,
I say that, and you're right, but I can tell you this. There are 3 instances in every game where NBA players who have taken 20,000 shots, who have played all over the world against the very best their entire lives, Wemby does something, blocks a shot from 8 feet away, and you can see them with giant eyes. Like, where did he come from? It happened on Friday night with Austin Reeves. He thought he had a little scoop layup, and Wemby came from, out of the Raptors and pinned it against the glass. Ain't nobody doing that. And I think if in their heart of hearts, if it was a secret ballot to the truest, where everybody voted and no one would ever know who you voted for, anybody who's played Wemby would probably say he's the defensive guy that is, if not the most likely to embarrass you. And if that's the guy, he's your defensive player of the year. He's the depoy.
He's inordinately special. I mean, there's just nothing, about him that runs contrary or counter to that. And is his defense his greatest weapon?
It is today. His threat of blocking a shot anywhere from the free throw line down in the mini box, 4 feet outside the free throw box, either direction, short corners all the way up, we haven't seen anything like this since Manute Bol, when he was getting, 6 or 7 blocks way back when he showed up. I mean, he's doing things that NBA players don't even expect. They're already afraid of him. They've seen him warming up. They know he's huge. But even after that, they try things and go, whoa. I mean, count the number of corner threes that are just destroyed by Wemby. And he's not putting his hand on the ball, but the corner 3 is one of those things that Wemby is taken away from other teams. Just don't get it when we're playing the kind of defense that they want him to play, because they're funneling to the corner. He puts those 2 hands up, man. You can't even – the ball has to touch the Jumbotron to get to the rim.
Shooting through a windmill type thing. I remember kind of peak J.J. Watt, the middle of his defensive player of the year runs. I remember reading a story about how coaches, when they would prepare for him, they would have like tennis rackets at the line of scrimmage. They were just like throwing up, trying to get different quarterbacks to pass through. He's I mean, it's strange because we have so many ways to quantify things nowadays, right? Like there's so much information, there's so many statistics, there's so many data points and objective, measurable kind of markers of success and this, that, and the other. But to your point, things like that you can't measure. Like there's so many intangible things that Wemby offers and inhibits in a given game that we just actually cannot understand the true value of. And that's where I think you certainly can make an argument for him for things like defensive player of the year, because he is, I mean, people break down things like that in their most literal sense, right? Like you can make an argument that nobody plays more stifling defense than he does on a minute by minute basis based on everything that he kind of prohibits. I mean, he is a human force field at this point in time. I mean, there's nothing, there's nothing he can't do. There's nobody he can't guard in some way, shape, or form.
Coach K, you remember him, right? The guy from Duke?
No.
The all-time winningest coach.
They gave him a puppy, right?
Yeah, he got a puppy and a gold watch and said, go away. Tired of you over here. He is looking for another job, and now he's got a podcast. Seems pretty common, right?
Everybody has a podcast.
Yeah. So he actually has a pretty good producer, got a good guest. He got Coach Pop to sit in with him, and that's a brain trust that not only could buy a vowel, but could probably coach a few basketball games. And Coach K asked Pop about Wemby and his thoughts, and he didn't say anything new, but I think it's time to adjust our thought process on Mr. Wemby. This is Pop.
We found playing in a crowd, like most young guys, don't play in a crowd because you're trying to do too much. So little things like that would start to pop up where we knew we could help here and there to complete his game, so to speak. But in the beginning, it was all, patience and watching.
Coach Pop has said more than once, he had no idea what he was getting. He knew it was special. So why not let this play out and use this season like it's a long practice? Let's just go see what he can do well, and then we will start to form our opinions and our team after that. Well, what are we at now? 50 some odd games? What are we at? 11 and 40 something? I think we have a pretty good idea what Wemby's good at. Can we, if we listed the best thing that Wemby does offensively, the best thing he does is defensive blocking shots. There's no question about it. But if you said, okay, on offense, this is Victor. Do we have an answer yet?
I mean, he is the epicenter. He is everything has to flow through him. I mean, if the ball's in Wemby's hands in the paint, it's over. You know what I mean? Like that's, I don't, there's not a way to describe that. You know what I mean? There's not like it's just, his reach and length is so vast that it's impossible. I mean, it's you hesitate to say things like it's a guaranteed bucket and things like that, but that's what he's great at. He's great at at minimizing the margins on the guarantees, right? Like at actually making the guaranteed things guaranteeable, if that makes sense.
And I think you've hit it on the head. But we really haven't. We don't have the Kareem skyhook. We don't have the thing. We don't have
the new thing.
Well, no. Eventually, every NBA player, I don't care how good you are, has to have a thing. The best ones have three things, but every NBA player needs a thing. His thing right now is Pop hit it on the head. We all know it. He's so good that he sometimes gets himself into crowds he doesn't need to be in. He needs to learn to move the crowd, not have the crowd move to him. And that's just going to come with time, especially with a guy who's capable of dribbling into trouble. We've never had a big guy that's capable of dribbling into trouble. He couldn't even dribble. Now this guy can take the ball off the rim and dribble himself directly into problems, which, for the first 4 dribbles is pretty cool. Actually, first 2 dribbles. And then we start to see those problems. That's not where he's best at. But we do know that we are seeing the initial dividends are kid can shoot. Over the last couple of weeks, that 3 is starting to fall, and it looks very effortless. So you can see that part of his game is starting to grow, and I think they're going to be utilizing that more and more as the season goes. Some tough news around the rest of the league. We saw Trae Young hurt his finger, going to be out for 4 weeks. The Hawks are tanking.
Get ready for next season.
Yeah,
get ready. We'll see you in the summer.
Now
we're not for property.
We're not there yet. There's a 65-game minimum, and I know that the Spurs have probably got the number of minutes that Wemby is going to play already mapped out all the way through the season, barring a sniffle here or a sore ankle here. I think they have a very good idea, even now, the games he's going to be playing in April. I think I know. How long do you take this? 65 played games, and we'll call it a day? Do you take it any longer than that?
I think it's up to him. You know what
Should
I mean?
it
be? Yeah. At this point, it should totally be up to him. I think it's up to him, and you kind of that's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that what Pop said? You know, hey, we're gonna let him see. You know, we're gonna watch him play basketball and just kind of learn his favorite.
No, I think you're right. The reason I bring this up is it's an Olympic summer. He's going to have a lot of work this summer. He's playing for that French team. So if you know that this summer is going to be full of work, now we've been here before. We're used to Manu going here and Tony going there and Tim going there. We've also seen that after a couple years, this gets really tiresome and it starts to pull tread off the tire. We saw it happen. We've seen it happen with other superstars. If you know it's coming, and we know that the bare minimum is 65, and I put it to you, if he stopped playing right now, today, he's Rookie of the Year, and he's probably number 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. Right now, he's already got it. He's already got the awards that are appropriate for everything else. I'm going to be a proponent of, as soon as we get the minimum games played, I want to wave goodbye. There's no benefit after that. If this season has all been about, let's just see what he's good at, he's got 52 games in. 13 games left.
I'm not opposed to that. Like, I don't have a passionate take on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's there's not a wrong answer because we're already in the wrong answer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're already in the rabbit hole. So if you're like, oh, well, I'm going to burrow this direction, I'm okay.
Now my question,
pick any spot of the 360 degrees that we have to work with here. That's just kind of how I feel about it.
So game 66, he's got everything under his belt. He's averaging 5x5. He's doing everything. And we get the word that he is now suffering from an incurable case of plantar fasciitis that only a winter or a summer in the south of France can cure. Would
like
you be
most
mad?
things.
It would certainly cure a couple of my ails. Would you be mad? Would we be like, what a wasted, crappy year? What are you talking about? Or would we go, thank you. This has not been good for anybody. Let's wrap this dude in bubble wrap and let's send him off to France to go do what he got to do. And we'll come back next year rejuvenated. Or does he owe it to us? Do the Spurs owe it to us as their fandom? Hell, I just spent season ticket money, and now you're asking for 25% more. Yeah, I'm talking about that, Spurs. You upped your season ticket rate 25% across the board? Are you guys nuts?
That's fair.
Well, they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
It's fair to ask for that, obviously, but I really don't care. As a Spurs fan, my priority is, what does Wemby want? If Wemby wants to play, great. I trust him. I trust, everything around that. You got to play basketball. You can't be completely and totally afraid. If Wemby says, you know what, I trust y'all, let's just, let's punt on the rest of this godforsaken season. Let's get, through the summer. Let's get Trae Young in tow, and we'll go at this in a real and adult way next year because we didn't do that this year. I'm good with either. I really am. I'm equally good with either. Again, we're in the rabbit hole, Rob. You know what I mean? Right now, we're at the dump. We're the Toy Story toys that have been dumped here, and you're like, I think I'm going to make this pile of trash my bed. Okay, that's fine. Pick a pile. Like they're all trash. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna sleep on one way. It's 6 in one half a dozen in the other. It's all trash. We're surrounded by trash.
I can tell you this. If you're relying on the decision making of a 20-year-old to further your outcome and make it, and you're comfortable that it's going to be the right decision,
we're at a place where that's the most logical recourse. We really are here.
Having been 20 and a man and having raised 2 others, very rarely is a wise decision made by a 20-year-old. Even if he thinks it's considered and well thought out, they have no idea what well thought out is. We do, because that's what we do on a regular basis. We call it the Morning Huddle because we exchange ideas and we tell you the way to go. We got NFL talk coming. Tony Pollard in specific, running backs in general. Cowboy fan, tune in. Running backs are front and center. And if Tony Pollard were to leave the Cowboys, would the Texans be a nice place to land? We're looking around the league. Hang here. This is 94.1 here on San Antonio's Sports Star. Living in pain. I know so many people of my age who tell me one thing after another that this hurts, that hurts. Why? There is a fix out there. It's Arasti. Arasti providers are all around San Antonio, all around the United States, in business for one thing: to get you out of pain and get you out of pain fast. The way they do it is unique. It's not about pills, not about surgery. It's your body healing itself. Trust me, it works. I've had lower back issues most of my adult life. I stumbled in there several years ago thinking, well, nothing like this to prolong the pain. I'll tell you what, they got me fixed in record time. And then to make things even better, they taught me how to fix my problems even before they started to manifest. That's why I'm an Arasti patient, and that's why you should be. They accept most insurances, and they're all around San Antonio, and none of them require a referral. Write this number down: 1-800-404-6050. 1-800-404-6050. The website is Arasti.com, AIRROSTI.com. They got a map of all the providers on your website. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Call them. They're going to get you fixed. Listen to me close. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Let Arasti take care of you when they do. I know they're going to be thanking me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyer4us.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyer4us.com.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Let's listen in on a modern-day marriage proposal. The players lit their smartphones. The young man pledges his true love to the woman of his dreams. She accepts. They exchange kissing emojis. There are some hearts. Very nice. Well, look at this. He's putting his phone down. I don't believe it. He's got a box from Diamonds Direct. Well, now she puts her phone down. Unbelievable! That, folks, shows how special a diamond from Diamonds Direct is. 2 people have put their phones down. He slips the Diamonds Direct diamond on her finger. She kisses him. Human contact, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew a Diamonds Direct diamond was capable of revolutionizing the virtual universe? And look at this. Her phone is ringing and she's still looking at her Diamonds Direct diamond. Oh, what's next? Tweets from actual birds? Amazing things really do happen when you give her a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Come in today and see how we can help you download real emotion. Details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Your love, our passion.
Tonight at 5:45, it's college basketball, Wisconsin and Indiana, on your home for March Madness, 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
It's San Antonio Sports Star here on 94.1 San Antonio. Hey, RJ, did you see the open field tackle from Dante DiVincenzo last night? NBA sorry about it. They're sorry. They missed it.
Okay.
I just want to let you know
that
they feel bad.
Okay. I mean,
we're going to talk some NFL, but as we went to break, I saw another highlight of the crowd rushing the court in the Duke game last night or day before yesterday. And
yeah,
what's his name?
You didn't offer you weren't here Monday, so are you pro or anti court storming?
Well, obviously anti.
Obviously,
we saw Filipowski almost get taken out. We saw Caitlin almost get taken out on a couple of them. It's silly because, come on, kids. Not everything isn't a world championship. Yeah, you won a big game, but adjust appropriately, man. Act like you've been here before.
I believe Wake Forest was favored in the game.
Yeah, it wasn't even an upset. They just beat Duke. Here's what I'll say: you're not going to be able to stop rushing the court.
I mean,
you're not. I mean, unless we're going to start playing in soccer stadiums that's surrounded by, chain link fence, where the court is literally surrounded by chicken wire.
Something I was thinking along these lines. There was I don't think they were a streaker, but there was somebody on the field at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the guy. Did you hear the story behind that?
Yeah, but my point is, okay, so the Super Bowl is a much more closely guarded and secure thing than a random weekend Wake Forest game against Duke. You know what I'm saying?
And a bunch of, for lack of a better term, and I do not mean to demean the job, but for lack of a bunch of rent-a-cops, a lack of a bunch of, windbreaker security types, to stop 5,000 people from coming over the edge. They're coming. You ain't going to stop them unless you physically build barriers. But what you can do is ensure that there's enough professionally trained security types. Just protect the players. Get the players off the court. And after that, I don't care. You can rip the rims down and carry them out. But it's possible, trust me, that when the game is over, when it feels like they're coming, that you get those guys off the court.
We see a million buzzer beaters that happen, in a span of seconds. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, in the sport of basketball, you can't possibly know every time this is going to happen.
Oh, you get a sense. When it's going to be an upset and the crowd's good. But it's up to the host team to make sure you got enough security just to get the team off the court. That's really all that matters. And that can be done. That can be a big dude for every player, or bear hugging them and getting them out.
Rushing is proof that it's difficult to. Right. If the players can't even get off the court in time, what makes you think that some security could get to the players?
I think it can be done.
And how many players? So you've got 10 players on the floor. So how many security guards are you sending out?
One per guy on the
for
court.
Each one?
I think so, and it's a nominal. I think if it's one of two things.
But you're protecting 360 degrees around.
Right. What's the answer? Because I don't think fines.
I don't have an answer, to be clear, but I think these are bad ones. I mean,
okay. Well, the answers, if you want to get it to stop, and I promise we're going to talk some football. The answers are either we let it go and just keep our fingers crossed, hope nothing happens. There's that, and that's kind of where we've been. And then there is
not a strategy.
A total. If you rush the court, you lose the game. Mm-hmm. Which, then I'd start sending my guys to rush a lot of courts and have the other guys lose the game. But I have
court rushers.
So you really can't go that route. Then there's the fine. Did you know the ACC, as we sit right now, doesn't even fine the host school if you allow that to happen? But, the fines, do I really want the fines that, that could be coming out of a fund that could, feed a hungry kid or, put another desk in a classroom? I don't really want that. So if I'm going to fix it without any detriment really to anybody involved, I got to spend some more money on security. And that's a nominal thing to do because you're not going to stop it. You're not.
I think my prediction, not my suggestion, and Frank Poteo touched on this in the Brigade Bar. My prediction is that we start getting a nationwide message over the PA, system in what feels like might be the last timeout, the final timeout, a timeout with around 2 minutes, maybe a minute left in the game, especially a tight, contentious one. Reminder to all of our fans and patrons to please allow time for the players and personnel to leave the court and arena. A reminder. I think we're on the verge of that. And that way, this better than I do. From a legal standpoint, they're good. They're protected. You know what I mean? And it's like, if anything happens, well, they offered their degree. They asked nicely.
I don't think that's enough.
I don't think it's enough either, but I think that's my prediction.
It's a very strange circumstance to find because you're aggravated that your fans are too excited. So you don't want to, cause anything to lessen the excitement of college basketball. But you don't need to rush the court when you're favored and you win at home. There's really no reason to do that ever. But I see the problem with that is that's a mentality that you're not going to change. These guys are already doing it. Have you ever rushed the field or a court?
Yeah, well, because when you do it, it's not like nobody is contextualizing it in their brains and saying, "Oh, we won as a home favorite." You know what I mean? They're just saying, "I want to be able to say that in my time at school, we rushed the court after we beat Duke."
Well, have you ever done it? Have you ever ran?
Yeah, but everybody's chasing the memory. Like it's a selfish, narcissistic thing. So you're not going to get anybody. Like, even you can't say like, "Oh, you can only rush the court if it's an upset or blah blah blah." People want to be a part of that memory themselves,
even though it's not real. I mean, if you upset the number one team in the country and you haven't won a game, then I think everybody can kind of go, "I get it." When you're Wake Forest or whoever that was running onto the court after winning a game that you were favored to win at home, your priorities are way out of whack, and there's no fixing that. You're not going to be, if that's where we are now.
I don't think that Wake Forest cares about what their basketball priorities are or how their basketball priorities are perceived. I think you ask a majority of kids who rush the court, they probably feel like they had a good time.
I agree. So do you think that there's anything short of chain link fence that'll stop that? No.
I suggested on Monday, maybe not chain link fence, and I hate this idea to be clear, but if safety is the number one goal, maybe a compromise is like the Final Four courts that are elevated. It's a little bit more difficult to rush, you know what I mean, when they have to kind of step up and climb that way. That would kind of suck, but that would add a layer at the very least. That would be something.
Kids gather around. Uncle Rob's going to give you a little bit of knowledge. Do you know why have you ever heard basketball players referred to as cagers on the cage? You ever heard of that?
Tell us, Uncle Rob.
There was a time when basketball players were referred to as cagers because they did, in fact, play behind chicken wire. It was like a chicken coop to keep guys that were throwing stuff on the court. So they got to be known as cagers. That is a true story. So it's not the first time they've dealt with stuff like this. They announced not to rush the field at the UTSA Football Conference Championship game, but we rushed the field anyway. Of course you did.
Well, but they protected themselves.
And that's a championship game. You're kind of like, but see, just because you say don't do it doesn't mean you're protecting yourself. Just because you say don't, you're incumbent upon putting enough detriment and protection from those that might do it despite that. Just because you say, hey, don't do that doesn't mean you're safe.
Your plan is really unrealistic, though. I would have dedicated. What if there's a sub? You know what I mean? What if you tell Johnson, hey, you're assigned to Martinez? You know what I mean? And there's a last minute
players on the court.
And he's like, who do I have? Who's my guy? Who am I rushing to protect?
I think we can figure it out. We know that this isn't going to work.
You know what we should do? We should develop the technology to where the moment the buzzer goes off, a force field is established around the court that boxes them in, the players in, and that's how we do it. We can do that.
We've got a couple of minutes in the break. I think we'll figure it out on the break. But when we do get back, let's talk some NFL. There are a whole bunch of good running backs out there. Are you not doing your due diligence if you're not willing to spend what be a little bit more than you planned on a back that you would be getting a whole lot less than they planned on? Let's talk about the market for the running backs as the world, or the NFL world, gathers in Indiana. Have you ever had a big steak downtown in Indiana? What's the name of that place, RJ? It's gone. We'll dream of good steaks coming up next. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, we talk about having a good steak. I want to talk to you about losing some weight. And more importantly, I want to talk to you about feeling good. Because Robert Earl King's got a song, Lord, it feels good to be feeling good again. I'll tell you what, if you've reached a time in your life where you're just overweight and everything that goes along with being overweight is manifested. You're not sleeping good. Your feet hurt. Your back hurts. You got the brain fog. You got a sore throat because you snort all night. Brain fog because you're not getting enough sleep and you're not doing all that. You're chasing energy with caffeine and sugar. It's a nasty, nasty feeling. And before you know it, you're putting another loop on your belt. You add another little stretch there. If that's you, listen close. Dr. Jacob Torres of the Institute for Functional Health has worked with people just like you for years. In fact, I am just like you. I walked in there overweight with really no hope of ever losing it because, quite frankly, I didn't want to. And the few times I had tried, I couldn't. Well, Dr. Torres changed my mind. He put me on a program that actually works because it's based in medical science, and that matters to me. And then above and beyond that, I got the coaching and the manifestation of a lot of people in my corner. And before you know it, things started working. And once they start working, it gets a whole lot easier to do. Here I sit in front of you 7 years later, down about 70 pounds or so, depending on the day. But here I am. It's a program I'm never going to leave. Dr. Torres is going to be a part of my life from now on. In fact, the Institute for Functional Health is now my general practitioner. If it is time for you to lose weight, I want you to call Dr. Torres. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, I want you to call Dr. Torres. If it is a matter of medical, you have to lose weight because your doctors are telling you, I want you to call Dr. Torres. It will work if it's time and you're ready to do it. Here's the number you need. It's 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Listen close. If it's sick and tired of being sick and tired, if it's time to lose weight, call Dr. Torres today. He'll change your life. And when he does, I want you to thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it's Boost Mobile here with a great deal to keep you connected and help you make the most of your tax refund. When you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G smartphones, like the Samsung Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. We're here to bring you the best phones on America's largest 5G networks, so you can get after it. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store for 4 lines and 4 phones for $100. Visit boostmobile.com for details. New customers only. Requires auto pay and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating dealers for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
You know what happens when a smart group of medical professionals get together and commit to a technology designed to relieve your aching joints without surgery? It's called QC Kinetics.
And this guy knows the power of a solid team. Emmitt Smith, football legend and Dancing with the Stars champ.
This elite medical group, some of them orthopedic doctors, got together and said, why are we prescribing so many medications? Why are we sending so many people to surgery in droves? Let's change this.
The answer? Natural biologics, our own healing properties. And the outcome is the country's largest provider of non-surgical regenerative treatments, QC Kinetics.
Actually, the real outcome are the tens of thousands of patients who finally got their quality of life back without surgery. Thanks to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Hello, this is Chip with Diamond J Property. You're invited to our coastal waterfront grand opening this Saturday, where you can get 2 acres with bay access for only $49.9. That's right, 2 acres bay access for only $49.9. This coastal waterfront community has over 4 miles of water frontage with access to the ICW, Gulf, Matagorda Bay, and much more. Property features paved roads, underground utilities, boat launch, pier, pool, cabana, and more. This property is shown by appointment only. Call now, 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389.
Due to phenomenal demand, the tour continues. Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2024. Live in San Antonio. Frost Bank Center, September 24th. With special guest, Allison Russell. Get tickets this Thursday at noon at Ticketmaster.com. The new album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit Hosier.com.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinigle here. Coming up on the Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs wrap up the Rodeo Road Trip tonight. Let me ask you this question. We figure he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but is there a case to be made for Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year? We'll talk about that. Plus, the NFL Combine is going on. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk will join us at 5:15 to talk all things Dallas Cowboys. Hey, RJ.
Did you miss our little cuddle this morning?
Well, did you?
No.
He's RJ.
Joe
I'm Rob.
stinks.
We encompass the Morning Huddle. We're glad you're with us. Please do yours. We showed up for work. Do your little bit. Make sure you are a part of the crew. You're liking and subscribing on the regular. We're going to talk some running back, but let's first of all, in the grand scheme of things, are we going to get any idea who the Cowboys are chasing in the over the next couple of days? I mean, are we going to watch them zero in on a tackle or a guard, or are we going to hear that there's a running back that they like, or there's a big linebacker that's really filling the hole that really, has the strength? Are we going to get that, or is that not pretty typical with the Cowboys?
No, I think that the information, the breadcrumbs that'll be dropped this week when Jerry speaks from his bus at the Combine will be more along the lines of contract discussions, contract information relative to Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. We've been talking about it forever. You did not know that it was a leap year, did you?
I did know. It's election year.
Oh, well. Oh, is that they always coincide? I guess I never realized that. Look at you. Okay, well done. Anyway, so we have an extra day, the Cowboys do, but time is dwindling. They have about 2 weeks now until March 13th.
So what happens on March the 13th?
On March the 13th, free agency begins in earnest, although it effectively begins 2 days prior on March 11th.
But that's kind
March
of a dead
13th.
period, right? You can.
Well, so March 13th is the official beginning of the new league year, and that's when all things can become processed. But March 11th is when the legal tampering period opens.
Legal tampering, I like that.
Yeah, and teams effectively agree to terms. They just, cannot sign, put pen to paper until the 13th. And so the reason that's significant is if the Cowboys want to be active on March 11th or March 13th, they have to have this Dak thing taken care of so that they have, available salary cap space to obviously work with. And so they kind of have 2 weeks to get this done. And if they don't, I don't want to say it would be a failure, but it would be kind of close. Like it would be handling this in the messiest way possible to not get, if you're going to do the Dak thing and you don't do it in the next 2 weeks, you're doing it the wrong way. Is basically the point. If you've accepted that you're going to do it, you have to do it. You've made that decision. You have to do it as soon as possible to alleviate the necessary cap space.
Does the Russell Wilson situation have any bearing on Dak Prescott's situation at all?
Literally, no.
Is there anything out there that we're waiting on, that we are needing for the Dallas Cowboys to see? The picture is completely clear now. There's no vagaries out there.
Literally nothing.
Okay.
It has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just, Russell will. The Broncos. And that'll be that. And Russell will sign with a new team, and the Broncos will have a new quarterback, and nothing involving the Dallas Cowboys whatsoever.
Is it true that teams thought the cap might actually go down?
I mean, they say that, but we're still in the middle of the TV revenue coming in, and that was always going to lead to balloons and balloons and balloons and balloons, and that's why quarterback contracts are structured the way they are, because agents know this and they want a piece of that pie. They want it to, they want the cap to go up as much as possible. And so you're kind of licking your chops and salivating at the opportunity to take home a lot of money.
But up $30 million? I mean, that's a big bump.
Dude, Amazon paid $120 million for one playoff game. I mean, and that's not even involved in this year's cap. I mean, but that's how much TV money there is. And it's in the CBA that certain percentages and certain portions of that have to go to the salary cap, so that there can't just be this monopoly, sort of effect where owners are taking every single penny. Because if it were up to them, the owners are probably like, this sucks that we have to give, a little bit more to the players.
What are we at? 51.5%, 52% now to the players? It's something, it grew with the last agreement. Now,
right, that was part of what the players want.
But the good news is, I mean, everybody got a little bit more money, but everybody did get a little bit more money. So now you're dealing with inflation. If everybody got more money, then basically we're just dealing with the same units, but those units are worth more, in this great scheme of things. Did this extra money kind of open the door for the Cowboys to do something that they didn't think they were going to be able to do?
I really don't think so, because they have so many in-house things to take care of, even besides the big three. You've got Dak to take care of, CD to take care of, Micah to take care of, and some of those things will alleviate cap space, which is important, relative to the amount. But you also have Tyron Smith, you have Stephon Gilmore. You maybe if you are looking for something that maybe this does, is maybe it allows you to keep Tyler Biadasz if you're really stretching. Although that feels unlikely, it kind of feels like they're ready to reset at the position, because Tyler has every reason to ask for a lot of money as well. Maybe not market-setting money, but the units are probably going to remain pretty chalk across the board. Yes, the pie is bigger, but everyone's portions all grew as well. It's not like everyone's getting the slice they were getting, last week, just with the bigger pie. With the pie being so much bigger, everybody wants their piece to be commensurate relative to the overall proportion.
This is where the GMs, this is where they make the money right here. The unexpected windfall, and then their ability to use that windfall that everybody else got to your benefit. I think we'll see who really is a great GM coming in over the next couple of weeks.
Do you think it's Jerry?
No, I think that he should spend some money on a running back, but I don't think he's going to have to spend much money as he thought he was. Hey, coming back, let's talk some baseball. More specifically, do you want to see your favorite players' asses? Because you can. Did you hear the Major League Baseball trying out these new Nike designed uniforms? They're Fanatics produced uniforms, and they're supposed to wick the sweat off you, and you're supposed to feel better, more comfortable. Well, evidently have you seen this, a see-through kind of thing going on with the uniform itself?
This is a contentious subject. Baseball dudes are pretty upset. And their spouses are having a lot of fun with it.
So with that in mind, I remember back a long time ago, whenever you cede a lot of control to the shoe company or the uniform companies, they're always going to try to come up with something new. And back in the late 80s, after North Carolina State had won the national championship, and Valvano was still the head coach there, he hadn't gotten sick. He had a young point guard that he had recruited, one of the best in the country. His name was Corciani. And because North Carolina State was the biggest basketball program in the world at that moment, and Valvano was a rock star, Nike decided that they would take advantage of one of their ACC Tuesday night special games and outfit the North Carolina State team in a brand new uniform. So they showed up to the Wolfpack, and they gave them all what essentially, I've never actually seen them in public. I've just heard hearsay about this story, that they gave them all what were essentially like wrestling unitards, that they were going to revolutionize the basketball uniform. So they gave the North Carolina State team this brand new North Carolina State Wolfpack wrestling unitards, and the team saw them and said, "We ain't going out on the field in this. We ain't going out on the court. We're not going to wear this." We can't in good conscience walk out. And that's the first and only time I've ever heard of a team going, nope, not going to do that. Can you imagine if you're a 360-pound offensive lineman at Baylor and you walk in to a homecoming game and your parents are coming, your girlfriend's coming, everybody's coming to the game, and you walk into the locker room and Baylor has laid out yellow from head to toe, yellow helmet, yellow jersey, yellow pants, yellow socks, yellow shoes, and you weigh 375. You're like, once I put this on, I'm going to look like a big lemon. I'm going to look like a lemon rolling out on the field, and I got nothing to say. You got to put it on. The Spurs got to put on that brown uniform. Like, are you kidding me?
I went to high school in Brownsville.
And
all right,
if
so,
you could have fixed
miss me with,
if you could have gone to Bluesville, if you grew up in Bluesville, Texas, and they only wore blue,
so different.
wouldn't it have been better?
It would have been. I don't know where I'd be right now, but I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I like life would be very different for all of us. But man, and if you want to pair brown with a color, pair it with white. You know what I mean? Like that's it's a little weird, but like that's the best. Brown and gold is just a horrible idea.
It's washed out and awful.
And again, like now there's some more advanced polyesters, but at the time. It was just always mustard yellow was the shirt. So like your choices were like, hey, Rob, do you want the brown shirt or the mustard yellow shirt? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing here? Nobody's enjoying this.
This always amazes me. That remember like the NBA a couple years back, it's been more than a couple, but they tried to change the fabric of the ball. And they didn't do enough testing. And it was ripping the skin off
20 years ago.
Yeah, and it was ripping the skin off the fingers.
The alignment of the palette, not the pallets, the lines were different.
Oh yeah, the leather was weird, and it was taking the skin off people's fingertips. We've seen occasions where baseball is tightly stitched, lightly stitched, overstitched, understitched, overstuffed, understuffed, according to what baseball wants. The uniform thing with baseball, this is what matters. This is not going to end well.
If there is a sport and if there are athletes who are anal about this kind of stuff, it is baseball.
It matters.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so they really care about the fit, and their complaints aren't just that the pants are see-through. They're also that the pants aren't custom tailored the way that they were. I think it's just like, you want small, medium, or large. It's just like, okay. And beyond that, the shirts or the jerseys have they almost look kind of screen printed. Mm-hmm. They don't have the same proper trims and kind of popping, accent colors or bordering and things like that. And they feel like they look kind of lame. They feel like they look.
It looks
cheap.
like a cheap AAU uniform. It looks like the kind of uniform that our kids would play for, and if you won, you got a free uni. And it was,
Well, so I saw a comment on Reddit, the Astro subreddit, that said this looks like the free jersey that they give away when you go to a game. That's exactly what it looks like. The quality and the printing and the color scheme and everything like that's exactly what it looks like.
But it's supposed to be some kind of space age polymer, right? It's supposed to be something that's going to keep me cooler and make me younger and better looking.
To be able to be more mass produced more quickly, Rob. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a cost cutting move of efficiency for the outfitter of Major League Baseball. And so
it always amazes me that entities of this size and magnitude will screw things up like this. That won't even have tested it. Nobody has ever even put the uniform on to say, hey, you can see my nipples. Has anybody noticed you can see all the way? No one knew.
How many games do we have at night with the lights on us? Because and also, how many do we have at 1:00 where I'm going to be sweating a lot because this is a tough scene. And the next evolution of this, Rob, the next complaint is players complaining they're too hot because they have to wear appropriate underwear. And I don't mean literally, but undergarments in general, even undershirts, to combat the see-throughness of this all.
Because
I will say this for all the baseball stuff, because it's baseball season's upon us. There is, I don't know if you're aware of this, there is no app or website like MLB's. They crush the competition. Their ability to see and stream and watch and access so quickly, it is the most efficient website that any professional sports league has.
And I also love that the ticketing is built into the app as well.
Oh, their app is a one-stop shop. It's wonderful. I love everything about baseball's app. They just got to apply that same logic to their uniform distribution.
Oh, chicks dig the long ball. Now they can prove it. Coming back in the 9 hour, we got so much to do. I got to go carbo load and hydrate. Hey, we got Spurs talk for you as they're finally coming home. Will they be coming home with a win? We're going to look at that. Cowboys chasing a running back. Is he in the college ranks or is he playing in another city? That's all coming in the next hour. And we're offering our grievances. Hold on, they're coming.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Do you want the most money for your used car and a hassle-free process? Give Me the VIN. We'll beat your written CarMax offer or write you a check for $100. It's that simple. Give Me the VIN is fast, easy, reliable, and pays top dollar for your car. It's that simple. Give Me the VIN is A+ rated by the BBB. Get an instant cash offer and the most money for your used car right now at GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Joel, it's fantastic to be a local business here in San Antonio.
Sure is, Nigel.
We always say, from the outhouse to the penthouse, we can plumb it and we can cool it.
And all that at a fair price with one easy phone call to 210-651-5899.
See, Joel, I told you I could do it without clowning around.
So what's with the red nose?
You can let go now. That's not funny.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number N16004, DACLA 000743445E.
Do you have failing or missing teeth? Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Mueller, Chief Oral Surgeon at Doctor's Implants.
I had missing teeth, I had crowns, I had partials.
There was no way I was going to walk into my bathroom every morning to see my teeth in a container.
At Doctor's Implants, replacing your teeth with full mouth dental implants might be the long-term solution you're looking for.
The 6-Hour Smile is a permanent full mouth teeth replacement. Your new smile will be custom designed to fit your face and lifestyle and will look and function just like regular teeth. You won't need to remove them from your mouth overnight, and you won't need adhesive to keep them in place. Eat freely and smile confidently again. Research them at doctorsimplants.com. Receive a complimentary doctor's consultation and CT scan when you call 210-640-0000. Again, that's 210-640-0000.
Home of the 6-Hour Smile.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. If you have downloaded the Prize Picks app and you're playing, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to those that think that there's something out of reach. If you want to play a game that your skill plays a role in, I want you to download Prize Picks because it's about more or less. It's not about winning and losing. Use your knowledge to pick out who is going to do the best and decide whether it's going to be more or less. A couple of clicks before you know it, you're playing the game. And it's all about the knowledge. Download Prize Picks. You'll see what I'm talking about. Basketball is in full swing. The tournament's just around the corner. There is no better way to apply your knowledge than Prize Picks. You know your guys. You know what they're capable of. Is it higher or lower? 2 or 3 clicks, more and more X's, more and more money. And if you download Prize Picks now and use the word Alamo in your promo code, there's $100 to play with. More or less, a couple of clicks, go do it. It's Prize Picks. Start playing today. Thank me later.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Your home for the Cowboys.
Prescott all the way, runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the Spurs have but one game left on the 23-24 Rodeo Road Trip. They conclude the party tonight in Minnesota. They take on the Timberwolves. The tip-off set for 7. The Spurs have lost 4 straight games. The Dallas Cowboys are not expected to franchise tag Tony Pollard. He had 1,005 yards on 252 carries last year. Franchise tag is about $11 million.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama three. Good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. Huddle up around us. He's RJ. I'm Rob. This is the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I want to congratulate whoever won our Hosier tickets early in the day. We let that go to the morning crew. Thanks for those that were here. We'll have tickets all week long. I'm sure the Blitz will be chock full of fun and goodness today, as Joe got a full night's sleep and Jason Minix is back from yet another visit to Las Vegas. This time it paid off well, as his wife ran 13.1 miles and Jason didn't have to. So we expect him in full strength today, starting at 2 o'clock as the Blitz gets busy and stays right here. I got to make sure I clean this place.
She better get a car bumper sticker, the 13.1.
She's awesome.
You run it, you can do that.
What'd you do last night?
Last night, I let's see here. We entertained my son, which is a chore in and of itself, a fun chore.
Yeah.
He Zoomed with his grandparents and spoke a lot of words. And we made salmon and sweet potatoes for dinner. And then I watched the match.
Was that a sheet meal? Did you do it all in one sheet with the salmon and sweet potatoes?
No, we do the sweet potatoes in this Ninja air fryer thing, but we do throw the salmon in the,
gotcha.
in the oven.
So while you were entertaining and having fun in a sounds like a healthy and savory meal.
It was.
Did you watch any golf? Did you watch what?
Yeah, I watched. I said I watched the match. At first I watched it on the iPad because the kid had the TV. But then I was promoted to the television when he went to bed, and watched. This was match number 9. Did you know that?
Well, we're doing 2 a year now, right?
Well, they started the first one obviously in kind of the height of COVID,
right?
And I think we all thought like, oh, this is like a one-off thing.
So that was Brady and Tiger and Peyton and.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious here. So last night was Rory McIlroy and Rose Zhang against Max Homa and Lexi Thompson. Rory won. So the first one was I'm sorry, the first one wasn't COVID. I forgot about this. The first one was just Tiger and Phil in Vegas.
I remember that. Okay, so that was before COVID. That was the summer before, or the winter before.
No, that was a year and a half. That was November 18th. And then we had Tiger and Peyton Manning against Phil and Tom Brady. That was the second one. And then we had Phil and Charles Barkley against Steph Curry and Peyton Manning. Then we had, now we're in 2021, Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. That was when Aaron was still using every microphone alive for weaponizing himself against the Green Bay Packers, against Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady, who were defending their title. So
now we have Rory and 3 dudes that could get off work.
It was Rory. Max Homa was a pretty good golfer, and Lexi's and Rose Zhang's amazing. Rose Zhang won.
How old is she? Like
first
20?
ever. She's in college, and in fact, one of the things they showed was her schedule today, and everything she had going on. She was
like study hall.
Well, she was like catching a flight after the match or whatever, and then she had like COM 104 this morning, and then she had to go to work and work out and lift and all this stuff. She's one of the best collegiate golfers in the world, and Max Homa's pretty good, although he's never won a major. Lexi Thompson is amazing. She's been a professional for like half her life at this point in time. But Rory did win the most money for charity. I believe this was Rory's first.
And who was the charity?
I believe it was actually, upon research, the first tee was the
That's
charity.
Tiger's deal. This feels very much like the slam dunk competition. That it was really fun when everybody was really trying to show off. But now, best we can do is Rory and some high school or college freshman named Zhang.
I think she's a little bit, more of a elder statesman on campus. But yeah, looking at this, I forgot about there was one match. The match, what was this? 8-7-6-5 was Brooks Koepka against Bryson DeChambeau specifically. So yeah, and of all these matches, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them have taken place in Nevada, specifically 2 of them at the Wynn. I do remember now the Rodgers one. That one was in Big Sky, Montana. That felt very Yellowstoney for obvious reasons. This one was at West Palm Beach, Florida.
What I get the initial attempt. I know why they did it before, because more Tiger's better, and then you throw in
Tiger Phil. It was this new
it was
we're gonna bet on everything. We're gonna be betting on every shot. They're gambling.
Yeah. And then Greenies and Wolf and then that was okay. That was cool. And then they go, you know what would be better if we could see Tom and Peyton. And then we're like, okay.
And that was peak COVID, so it was like, what's a good way to raise money for this? Like that was a great idea. Totally.
I was with it. And then they go, you know what, Barkley? Yeah, that's hilarious. That guy can't play at all. I'm down now. This is an idea whose time has come and gone, man. And is it because of the PGA liver thing that we're just not going to get the talent that is going to be required to draw any kind of interest at all? I don't know what the numbers are, but I bet it was you and about 100 other people, including friends and family of the players.
Well, Jacob Eric says in the Brigade Bar, says, hey, the match is cool. Very fun to watch.
It is.
So Rory's great. Max Homa's great. But this was the match 9. And kind of to your point, do you have any idea who was involved in the match 8? Do you want to guess?
I don't care anymore.
Well, the match 8 was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Oh, that's right.
Against Steph and Clay.
At least that had something interesting.
Yeah, on paper, the match 7 looked great. It was Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas.
I don't care who wins.
Against Rory and Tiger. No, but
it's the conversation. It's what's going on. And
I'm all about this. Give me as much match content as possible. I felt the conversations can be a little bit awkward and a little bit forced if they're amongst people that don't really know each other, which is why even Mahomes and Kelce against Steph and Clay, that sounds cool, right? Like, oh, you got these 2 kind of tag team duos that dominate their respective sports. I mean, their conversations aren't fast. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the Spieth, Thomas, Rory, Tiger thing to me is interesting, because you have 4, amazing professional golfers. I want to hear their conversations with one another.
I feel like I have access to. I'd rather see Tom Brady and the guys like Steph Curry. I'd like to see Steph Curry play some more. The guy can play.
He might play like professional.
Tony Romo. I'd like to see the very best golfers out there go at it, and not the I want one PGA type, but I want other golfers that are really good, that are on that pro tour, that that are doing all the things that you do when you retire. I'd much rather watch that than a bunch of what they showed last night. They've made a tactical error. That's not what we want to see on a Monday night. But if you'd have advertised that it was somebody in the news, somebody that is worthy of a quip or whatever, I am in. But watching
I think you're just being a hater.
No, I'm not, because
cool.
it had me for a while, and it's now lost me.
I think it's cool. It's a cool the format. You don't need it. Last night they did skins. Just play golf. Just play match play. It's the match. Just play match play. We don't need you. We don't need you to reinvent the wheel. We don't need you to force, trash talk or anything like that. Just let them talk. That's all. I just want to hear them talk.
Is this an event for golfers or for golf fans? Because you say Thomas Homa, he's like, whatever his name is. I don't know who the hell this Max Homa is. I don't give a crap. So, I can watch him on Sundays. Why don't you give me something I can't watch?
So I don't know if you know this or not, but you asked if this is for golfers. Are you aware of what the Netflix Cup is/was?
No, I have no idea what the Netflix Cup is.
The Netflix Cup happened in November. It was about a week before Thanksgiving last year, this most recent year, in Las Vegas, ahead of the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix. It was obviously Netflix put it on. I don't know if that was obvious to you,
right?
But Netflix put it on, streamed it online, and it was actually significant because it was Netflix's
the first live streaming
into live streaming a sporting event.
I remember that.
But as it was Netflix, they took advantage of their sporting properties. Obviously, the newest season of Drive to Survive, chronicling Formula One racing, is out. They also have the new season of Full Swing, the PGA Tour /Live / overall golf version of that. Season 2 debuts next week. So they took some F1 drivers. They took some PGA Tour players.
I'm in.
Well, it kind of sucked.
Really?
So it was Lando Norris and Ricky Fowler, Carlos Sainz and Justin Thomas, Pierre Gasly and Tony Finau, and Alex Albon and your boy Max Homa. Max is all about these. Max is playing in every cup or match he can get his hands on.
To me, that sounds really interesting. That's the kind of thing that would draw me in, just to see how good are these guys. And, I also want to see them screw it up and, completely duff one like I would. But I also like to see the interaction amongst professional athletes and the way that they talk to each other.
Do you want to hear me ruin it for you? Because you could go back and watch this.
Oh,
you can fire it up on Netflix.
Sure.
What do you mean? You watch some weird crap. I could totally see you one night perusing your way through it.
If at some point I am watching a fake golf tournament from November that is starring F1 drivers, I've got problems, man.
But let me explain to you why this is really lost. I will absorb any of this. I watched the entire match last night and it was great. But the Netflix Cup was a bridge too far. So the first hole, it was like, ooh, yeah, exciting. Ooh, trash talk. Ooh, blah, 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 whatever. We've got some of the fastest people in the world here with the obviously F1 drivers. The challenge of the first hole was they all teed off simultaneously. Like kind of
like a start of a race or something.
Well, and they had a start light. You know what I mean? Like at the hang on. So it was like bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean?
And the balls
and then they all had the chant, like they were told this, they had to run to their carts and race in the carts. And I'm
liking this so far. I'm kind of in.
The goal was to obviously, score, get your ball in the cup as quickly as possible. So the team then they were like running up and like extreme putt, but and it turned into roller hockey at a certain point in time. It was.
I think this idea's time has come. I might need to go watch this.
I'm saying it's accessible to you on Netflix. Just fire up the Netflix Cup.
We might have a new 16th hole idea.
Well, the other day you were asking for extreme events or things to do with the family, like laser tag, go-kart racing. This is that. The Netflix Cup gave birth to some ideas, but that's what I'm saying. I like the idea. Golf is a casual sport for most people on earth. It's a chatting sort of sport, a thing you do while you're having conversations. Just let people golf and let us watch their conversations. We don't need you to cute this up by adding this, that, or whatever. And if you want to raise money for charity, you want to do closest to the pin, I'm all for it. But I honestly, last night was done. It was Ernie and Chuck and, the whole, kind of TNT crew. I don't even need them. And nothing again. I love them. They're great. And I will watch anything they do covering any kind of basketball game. But I just want to watch the people who are golfing be the ones who are talking.
And I get a lot of that on Sunday. I'd rather have new guys that are good with pros. I
think,
like
though,
that interaction.
Where this has been a good thing, I don't know how much golf you're watching, but on CBS broadcasts now for PGA Tour events, on Sundays, and I guess on the weekend, really, they'll have somebody, they'll throw an AirPod in their ear, and they'll talk to them on their walk after their tee shot to the ball. And so, it's cool, and some big-time dudes have done it, and that's, it's always cool to hear, yeah, this is what I'm thinking, this is my approach, I'm scanning this, that hole, I can't believe I missed that putt, like, I'm all for that. And so if at the very least the match gave birth to that, it's been worth it.
Those guys are thinking the same thing I am. I always find it funny when they walk up, they're like, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull out, I'm going to flatten out this 9-iron, and I'm always thinking the same thing. So what I'm going to do here, but watch them do it. It actually works. I'm going to flatten it out. What I would do here. And like, I always think the same thing. Like, I always felt like I'd be a good caddy.
It's one of the few sports that exist where we can, hear that. We can, understand the goal, mid-game, so to speak. You can't, like, it's not like after a first down, after the 4-yard run, you can be like, okay, so what are you guys thinking here on 2nd and 6? Like, tell the viewing audience what your plan is right now.
But I think we can all agree they're going to have to reevaluate the current status of the match.
What a hater.
I'm just saying, if no one saw nor no one cared, I think that's enough.
Wow.
You're
what
1 in 100.
Hater. You should have saved this for grievances.
I am here to help. Oh, grievances are coming. Grievances are coming in just a couple of minutes. We'll let you get that bad air out and bring in that good stuff as we want you to go through a full day without being so angry. That's what we do. But before we do that, let's predict the Dallas Cowboys storyline over the next couple of days. What do you expect the Cowboys to do? Jerry's going to give us his presser on the bus tomorrow. What's he going to say? Is there a high-end running back coming? We're going to talk about it next. Cowboy Talk at the Combine, just around the corner. This is the Morning Huddle, and you are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. How'd you feel this morning when you got up and washed yourself clean out of a Connecticut water-softened shower? I hope you attacked the day like you did not even considering the quality of the water that was coming out of that shower head. Because you didn't have to think about what the shower head will look like when the water dries. Is it going to be all white and powdery? Is there going to be stuff all on the faucets and the fixtures when I'm done if I don't wipe it down? When I go grab my glass out of the dishwasher, is it going to be covered with that white powder? And am I going to be able to feel that water on my skin and on my hair? If the answer is yes to any of that, you need a Connecticut. See, Connecticut is going to take care of that, and that's just the part you're seeing. All the stuff you don't see is what matters. All that stuff that lands in your pipes that clogs up over time, you're never going to have to worry about that with a Connecticut. It's an investment in your home. It's an investment in the future. And heck, it's an investment in some good, sweet tea. If you've wanted one but never thought you could afford it, now's the time. For the next 90 days, you can have a Connecticut in your house, and it won't cost you a penny. If you'll dial 656-PURE, the Connecticut's are going to come out and put a Connecticut, yes, a Connecticut, the very best in your home for 90 days, and not ask you for a penny. In fact, on the 91st day, they're going to come and ask if you like it, and I'm sure you will. And once you do it, once you buy it, you're going to be just like me and have the last water softener you're ever going to own, because apples to apples, that warranty going to put you through the years. But you're not going to know until you call. Call them today at 656-PURE. Go to ConnecticutSA.com for every one of those details. Sing it while you type it. Hey, get a Connecticut on your home. You're going to love it. And when you do, I know you're going to be thanking me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We're here with Jose of the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about what makes the Gomez Law Firm different from all the other law firms in our area.
You know, we pride ourselves as being an open line of communications. We don't have an automated service. You're not going to ever dial our phone number and get some robot on the other line. You're always going to get a person 24/7. Our principal office is here in San Antonio, and we don't only say principal office because our main office is here. We say it because, again, Mr. Gomez was born and raised here, practicing law here in San Antonio in his community for almost 50 years. There are not many attorneys that can say that. If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gamis Law Firm. We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gamis Law fights.
The way the NBA season is going in San Antonio, you need to find a way to add excitement to watching those games. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. The way to do that is by playing at Underdog Fantasy. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing the Pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Select whether they will be higher or lower on stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So download the Underdog Fantasy.com. Sign up, use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, and move again, pain-free. No pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. So take action now. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey, hoop heads, college hoops are heating up, and if you've got your eyes on the madness to come, I need you to register for the Dose Million Bracket Challenge today at Twin Peaks. Go lock in your chance to win $2 million and more epic prizes. Head over to TwinPeaksBracketChallenge.com to get started.
Let our team keep your home running comfortable and worry-free. Call on Mr. Electric for all your electrical needs. 210-248-2026. Or get a hold of us online at MrElectric.com and enter your zip code.
License number TECL 34221.
You're on San Antonio's Sports Star. Hey, you started the day out right. Give yourself a gold star. If you still got problems, you got something bothering you, in about 10 minutes, you're going to get a chance to let it out. Let the bad air out, let the good air in. We're going to air our grievances in just a second. You can say it, you can type it, and there's lots of ways you can do that. You can text us, 656-3776. You got something to get off your chest, you can talk it out, sound off like you got a pair, or you can head to our YouTube feed and let everybody else see it. And if you want it prominent, I understand you can like tip or something, get up at the front, and it'll hang out there for a little bit. You can do that as well.
Yeah, you can super chat.
Super chat. I'm a super chatter.
Are you really?
Well, no.
I mean, you have the ability to chat.
I have learned over the last 3 or 4 days, my small talk skills have really, really declined over the years. I used to be pretty good at it. I could make conversation just about anybody.
Rob, I've been around you in a lot of settings. If there's one thing that has declined for you, it is not your ability to small talk.
I don't know, man. I caught myself talking about the weather an inordinate amount.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, when you're falling back on the weather and other stuff and you don't have anything else to say, I realize, man, I'm gonna have to go read up. I got people coming from all angles, and I got nothing to say. I got to get better.
You know what, though? It was the warmest February on record for the United States. That's worth talking about. Like, that's worth knowing. That's worth, saying, hey, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Depending on the side of the fence you're on. Start getting political.
Yeah. I mean, it's all because of that. You know what I mean?
Are we going to have, and while the combine has become this event that is so much bigger than athletes that are showing up, I mean, and the ones that we want to see are only going to do the things that they're really, really good at. And if there's any question at all, they're not going to do it. But there are guys that are going to make some money this weekend, right?
The combine is what I feel like our Super Bowl experience is like. There's so much value in being there the week of Radio Row.
Right.
Like that's the week that we're working.
We're talking about the value is in the those that are on the teams, the general managers, the talent acquirers.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Because of where we're at in life and society and technology, again, I don't mean to minimize the value of the combine, but every coach, every scout, every analytics staffer has access to all the tape in the world on these players, not just collegiate tape, not just high school tape, but 7-on-7 tape, whatever tournament tape. I mean, and not even just football tape and basketball tape. I mean, like any sort of athletic, accomplishments or experience or participation, whatever, beyond the tape of being able, because, people say, we judge off the film, blah, blah. They also have access to all sorts of actual analytics. All these players have tracking data that tells you what they do, how fit they are, et cetera, and what they move like in football attire, which matters. Obviously, there's a big difference in running a 40-yard dash in, just the underwear that is the proverbial Olympic attire here, relative to shoulder pads and knee pads and things like that, even as, tight and efficient as they are nowadays for players in today's game. So, I don't mean to say it's worth nothing, but the real value for the overall NFL franchises involved isn't what they learn watching the players throughout the drills and the combine. It's what they're able to gather, what they're able to accomplish in terms of conversations throughout the week with other people. And yeah, they can pick up the phone and whatever, but they can have face-to-face conversations. They can talk not just to other NFL teams, but representatives for teams, representatives for players. They can broker things, negotiate things, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Now the Wonderlic test, that's no more. They're not taking that.
Well, and the S2 is on its way. I read this massive article.
So the S2 is the next test that judges not football intelligence, but general just intelligence. I don't know what the Wonderlic was supposed to grade. And I don't know what the S2 does, but it seems to be on its way out, both of them.
The S2 was billed as a test to kind of assess a quarterback's ability to react, their reflexes. We were talking F1. Have you seen the video of Pierre Gasly and Tyreek Hill with tennis balls?
Yeah.
Seen this by chance? At the Miami Grand Prix last year, Pierre dropped tennis balls and Tyreek had to catch them. And he does that and you're like, oh man, Tyreek's reaction skills are like amazing. And then Pierre does, and it's like, it's like, man, the gap in mental processing, nothing against Tyreek Hill, but you just have to be that elite to drive an F1 car. The S2 is kind of intended to measure those kind of skills. And measure it's kind of I believe they test you on like a gaming computer because you're kind of doing this and you're checking this and whatever, blah blah. And now the kind of narrative that's being put out there, because CJ Stroud made this test look pretty dumb, you know what I mean? He really highlighted how not just how dumb the test looks, but also but also highlighted how not cool it was for whoever to leak that.
Right.
Because they did it clearly in an effort to kind of smear him ahead of the draft, because it happened like right before the draft actually last year. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying, as we watched what the combine was when it first, NFL Network first dared to show it to us about 20 years ago, and we thought, wow, we finally get a peek behind the curtain. We're really seeing the evaluation. And I do think back then there was some legitimate evaluation going on behind the scenes, because there was always the pro day at every school, but you want to get a mix of both. But I think we've gotten to this adversarial point with the combine that the very reason for its existence doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, all the stuff that we really cared about that they would pull out because of leaks and because of other stuff they can't do, like all those crazy questions they ask. Well, that we've always heard about, and how they, we've heard the bad stuff, like Des Bryant and other guys get asked some really tough, odd questions. While the justification for those questions was a little, questionable, you do want to see what your guys look like under pressure. You want to be the guy that interviews this possible first round $1 million thing. You want to see what he acts like when things are a little tough. I still think there's some benefit to it, but not physically at all. There's nothing physical that we're going to find out over the next 4 days that's going to change anybody's mind.
The benefit most notably comes from an informational standpoint. Now, there are dudes, because nobody who is a somebody relative to kind of draft status, at least right now, is going to throw, is going to do this, is going to do that, because they don't want to do it in a non-controlled environment. They want to do it at their pro day where they have complete and total control. If they're throwing to their guys, whatever. But there are quarterbacks or players or whoever who throw, who do this, who do that can stand to improve their draft status, who can stand to improve their draft stock. I mean, you could put yourself from being a low 6th round draft pick to, maybe a low 5th round draft pick, things like that. There are players who definitely can benefit from all of this and benefit by proxy from nobody else doing anything. Quarterbacks or whoever who does decide to throw. Being the best quarterback who throws at the combine isn't anything to brag about,
no, not at all.
Given how few people are involved. But you're still the best. You know what I mean? You're still the best that everybody saw. And there's, at the end of the day, these are human judgments, and you can't help but let your humanness take over sometimes.
In your long history with the Cowboys, can you think of anybody that, showed up at the combine the Cowboys didn't know and suddenly they got us something? They got something that nobody, I can't recall any combine warrior that made it onto the Cowboys that panned out for any length of time.
No, but I will say, I guess if you're looking for what that version is for the Cowboys, and we'll get there in the coming weeks, every team is allowed 30 visits that you're allowed to bring in players. The Cowboys are very specific with who they bring in for their 30 visits. And it is, you can generally find their 1st round draft pick. And look, it's 30 players, and some of them are obvious. And you have exceptions, like the Cowboys you can interview players locally that don't count against your 30 visits. So they're fortunate that all these Aggies and Longhorns
TCU
and whoever's
right,
exactly don't count against that list. But in that respect, there are very, very, very few exceptions in which the Cowboys have been so impressed by measurements or tape or whatever that they've deviated from that. One of the only ones I can think of was Morris Claiborne. They traded up to draft him in 2012, traded up to the 6th overall pick. He was not a 30 visit. But they just fell so in love with him. I think he was their 2nd graded player on their board that year behind Andrew Luck. And so, they were like, we just have to have this guy.
What about the cornerback out of UConn a couple years back, the athlete?
Byron Jones was a 30 visit.
He was
in 2015. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cornerback safety, that's a sensitive topic.
Reason to watch, if nothing for the the Schefters and the bombs that come out of the backroom meetings over the next couple of days. And we do know this. Jerry has a history of inviting people onto his Luxo yacht boat bus that he brings up to Indianapolis. We expect a little bit of that from him tomorrow. Coming up, it's time to air your grievances. We want you to charge into Tuesday the right way. Let that bad air out. You've got something to grieve about. You can type it, you can talk it, but you got to let it go. We're airing out our grievances next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope there is nothing in your life that is keeping you out of life. I hope there's nothing so painful that there's things you just won't or can't do, because if there is, you've let life pass you by. There's a fix. It's called a Rosti. Call them today. See, a Rosti providers are all around San Antonio. They're highly trained medical professionals with one job in mind, and that's to get you out of pain, and they do it in a way that you can use. It's not long-term. They're not talking about medications to kind of hide what is still wrong or surgery to prolong it. We're talking about your body fixing itself in a really useful way. People ask me all the time, what is a Rosti? And I'm like, it's a lot of stuff, man. There's definitely some physical therapy, definitely some chiropractic, definitely just your standard training stuff, and some stuff I don't even know what they're doing. I just know it works. So if you're dealing with a soft tissue injury, a sprain or a pull, maybe it's a lower back injuries, a frozen shoulder, frozen back, plantar fasciitis, the fixes go on and on. I'm a lower back issue type. I've had it all my adult life. I walked in for the very first time 7 years ago, dealing with the same problem I'd have pop up every couple of months. They told me what the problem was. They fixed it. I was back in the game, and then they showed me how to keep myself healthy. That's been a complete game changer for you. You need it for yourself. You don't need a referral to go, so write this number down. It's 1-800-404-6050. They accept most insurances, so make that call right now. And if you're looking for one, go to their website, Rosti.com. They got a map of all the providers. They're adding them all the time. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call a Rosti today. They're going to get you fixed, and when they do, I want you to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs play their final game of the Rodeo Road Trip. And speaking of Wemby, is there a case to be made that not only Rookie of the Year, but perhaps Defensive Player of the Year for the big fella? We'll talk about that. Plus, Shireen Williams will join us at 5:15. The NFL Combine is going on, the latest on the Cowboys. It's coming up on The Blitz.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member.
Can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Joel, it's fantastic to be a local business here in San Antonio.
Sure is, Nigel.
We always say, from the outhouse to the penthouse, we can plumb it and we can cool it.
And all that at a fair price with one easy phone call to 210-651-5899.
See, Joel, I told you I could do it without clowning around.
So what's with the red nose?
You can let go now. That's not funny.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 210-651-5899.
License number M16004, DACLA 000743445E.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Febreze. Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and RJ Ochoa.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about them.
Here are the grievances with Rob and RJ.
We do it every day. While our day is just about done, and yours just beginning, and we don't want you charging into the day with bad air, feeling bad. You got to let it out. You got to let it out so you can live your life. So we let you air your grievances. I didn't get a chance to air anything yesterday. I'm a little verklempt, but I will allow you the floor first. RJ, any thoughts? Anything you got to let out? Any bad air? You got to.
I'd say this one is directed at an NFL team specifically. Some more than others. It's the week of the NFL Combine, and we've discussed most of what that means. The one thing we've kind of left out is it means we are going to get peed on a lot and told it's raining in different senses. About 5 minutes ago in real time, New York Giants general manager Joe Shane said that they have faith in Daniel Jones as their quarterback.
Oh, good to know.
Joe, look, we're all adults. You can be honest. I'm not saying you have to tell us your whole plan, even part of your plan. But we don't have to do this. We don't have to, because what will invariably happen is some people will drink the water that you have led them to. And you are going to incite fights and arguments among Giants fans at their family gatherings between now and the NFL draft, where somebody's going to say, we got to get rid of Daniel Jones. He stinks. And then some connected family member is going to say, I don't know if you know this, but Joe Shane said that we have faith in Daniel Jones, so you better take that and shove it. And we don't need
How
that.
many of those guys are left?
I mean, I think a lot. We saw Tommy DeVito come in, and it ain't easy for anybody to just come in and play quarterback. You could do it for 5 minutes, but DJ, he's done it for multiple years now. All right, that's all Joe Shane's fault. All right, all these future arguments we can place at the feet of
Thumbs
Joe
up,
Shane.
man. I completely agree with this, and they're making their own bed. He's literally making his own. Like, okay. So you want us to believe that you still have full trust? All right, hero, show me your full trust.
Yeah, and then at the very least, if you want to play this game, this is a future grievance, and then you do draft a quarterback in the first round, whatever the case may be, don't tell us something stupid. At the very least, be like, guys, I had to lie. It was the combine. I was just playing the game. We're going to see what happens, but obviously we're leaning more towards a different direction.
That's y'all know a bluff, right? Y'all played cards around your table at home. I was bluffing.
Yeah, just say it. Just we'd all say, Joe, if you said, be like, good for you, Joe.
Well done.
Respect.
Strategery.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, my man. So that was my first grievance.
Okay, and that's some thumbs up. I completely agree with it because we're going to get a little bit of our own puffery. Thumbs up. Okay. I've got a sports-related one and a non-sports-related one.
Okay.
Last night, I'm watching the highlights on SportsCenter of Dante DiVincenzo, form tackle.
A San Antonio legend won his title.
Yeah, he won it right here. Form tackle at midcourt. Who was that? Cade Cunningham? I forget who it was with the Detroit Pistons. Doesn't matter. There was no call. And, the NBA afterwards said, after reviewing, it was fairly obvious that he wasn't fouled. We're sorry. I get it. Referees make mistakes. But I don't understand why we're complaining about refs, whether it be in football or basketball or umping in baseball. In every other career, you can kind of major in that. Why can't referees get a degree in refereeing? And why can't college football players get a degree in football? Why? I don't understand why you can't get a degree in football. The coaching, the playing, the history.
The Cardale Jones line at first, like, I didn't come here to play school. I came here to play football.
Play football. So why not degree them in a program? I can get a degree in Elizabethan poetry, which has just as much use as a football degree when I'm done.
Wow.
A Bachelor of Arts, I can come out and say I can read a defense as well as you can read the iambic pentameter of William Shakespeare. I mean, it means the same in the world today. So why can't, if we can't do that, refereeing, umpiring, why isn't there a 4-year degree for that? Why don't we educate them in the ways instead of making them go through the club thing and, oh, you can ref some high school for a while and we'll get you involved with this regional. Why can't you, you have degrees to be an airplane pilot. You have degrees to be everything else. This is just as important in a lot of places. In fact, even more so. I would imagine the Vegas types would like to tip in a little bit of money, maybe a scholarship fund for a fully educated, completely prepared pool of talent. Why don't we why we're bitching constantly? Hey, we got a reffing problem. Well, maybe it's because they had to, pull 2 jobs and drive Uber for 20 years to get it down when maybe they could have degreed up, got their masters in NBA 2-minute drills, and come and been prepared. Why don't we do this? They're making $250,000 a year. Least we can do is force them to be full-time whatevers instead of Joe the insurance salesman in October. But I'll tell you what, in November, I'm going to be. Why are we doing this? Why don't we go get the pool and raise the tide a little bit instead of just screaming into the wind?
So your grievance is that officiating isn't better. Right, like if we're casting a net overall, everything that you said, that officiating should be more properly run.
I just think we could prepare our talent in a way to where there's always another pool coming. There's another graduating class of new referees that are coming out ready to take your job. And if you're not ready to move on, you lose your gig just like other professional athletes.
How about a draft? Put them through a combine and draft them, and you draft the best ones for the biggest games.
See, this is why I talk about that is a fabulous idea. It is. It is a fabulous idea.
Or maybe not a draft, but like like individual sports like golf or tennis, they have like official world rankings. There should be an official world rankings that are every game you're graded, like baseball has the umpire scores, I'm talking about, that come out after the game. So why isn't that overall grade, tabulated, and we have a season-long, career-long average, and we say, you know what, we're pulling, umpires 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever for the World Series.
No,
that makes sense.
We'd prefer to have a high school principal who takes Thursdays off to fly into wherever and take a couple of films and do his job, which worked for a while. It doesn't work anymore.
That's a good grievance. Thumbs up for me. We've fixed this. Now we just need these sporting organizations with their billions and billions and billions of dollars to devote like the tiniest little fraction of it to this cause.
Everybody kicks in a little bit of money for the improvement and continuing education of referees, who that is their only job, and they need to work under the same pressure as the athletes do. If I'm not good enough, I will be replaced and I will be done.
Well said. That's a good take. Good, solid grievance. Well done.
All right, we're 2 for 2.
That was your sports one, or you have a non-sports one?
I have a non-sports one.
Oh, I have a non-sports one as well.
Fire away.
So, you ever have somebody come over for a movie night or something like that? They make a bowl of popcorn at your house. Well, no, I don't mean that. But just whatever. They're visiting. They're throwing leftovers in the microwave. Or you're at their house, and you say, I'm going to throw this in.
Doing a lot of that lately.
I know, but so they say, well, make sure you do it this because my microwave is different.
Oh yeah, mine's stronger.
Why are the microwaves different? Well, I mean, what happened?
Oh, RJ. See, here's the thing, RJ. You were in your world when you were born. There were microwaves already in it.
Okay, but that's besides the point here. That's like saying
no. I'm going to get
no, but that's like saying my electricity's stronger.
But you don't realize the differences when microwaves first arrived. They were wildly different.
That's fine. But this isn't then anymore.
Right.
Dude, we can send robots to Mars.
I don't understand why they're not uniformly strong.
Why is there not to use that word, a uniformal microwave capacitance that is like applied in the safety requirements or whatever of microwave manufacturing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how many microwave manufacturers there are in the world, but why is there not a compliance that they all have to meet? They all have to live at this exact level of, the word isn't strength, but I don't think it's capacitance.
100 watts means 100 watts across the board, whatever that is.
Like, why does it vary? That's so
I don't
dumb.
understand.
Like,
it's science.
It's so, you go to a hotel or an Airbnb and you're like, let me throw this in. You're like, this is freezing. I put it in for a minute at my house and everything's good. That is so ridiculous that we have reached this point in time where we have 4 million different types of microwave strength. It creates. Do you know how much time literally we have all lost trying to calibrate ourselves to different microwaves that we have come across in our lives? Think about the minutes as they add up.
Or the burnt mouths, the absolute pain we have gone through, because your 30 seconds is evidently 90 seconds, because my 30 seconds, it's perfect. Yours, it's molten. So, no, exactly. More often than not, I have found that my microwave is actually weaker than others. I don't know why that is.
Wow.
It just seems like mine, it just takes longer, but it cooks better. I know how it works. I know 17 seconds, exactly what it's going to be like in 17 seconds. And you do too. On your microwave, you know the difference between 16 and 18 seconds, because that 18 seconds, that's going to burn the top of your mouth. 16, perfect. 2 seconds.
I know, but it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't.
It should be. And I used to feel this way as a kid about TV channels. Like, I'd be talking to my cousin, like, oh yeah, it's on channel 12. Well, channel 12.
Why is your 12
like,
different from my 12?
Yeah, like exactly. These things should all be the same. You know what I mean? We should make our levels of communication and operation from one person to another more efficient. That's my goal.
We're 3 for 3. I'm with you there. We need some sort of unified board of measures to say
exactly
this 100 watts will defrost and cook your Jimmy Dean pretzel in 27 seconds.
Your breakfast sausage pancake thing.
13 seconds.
Perfect. Okay, you're a non-sports one.
All right. I've had to go back and forth up and down 35 over the last couple of days, and I'm a fan of Buc-ee's. I thought Buc-ee's was radical.
Oh no, don't do this.
It's too big, man. And I saw that they're getting bigger. Have you seen that they're getting that Buc-ee's on I-10 headed east toward Houston, or west or east toward Houston, excuse me. They're making that one even bigger. They're making it even bigger. And so yesterday I'm trying to I just want to go get something just to get out of the car. This is not a gas stop. It took me like 15 minutes just to find a place to park. We're out of hand here, man. We're out of hand. It shouldn't take. I mean, I won't go back. I shouldn't have to. I don't want to. I love the place, but you don't need 300 gas. You're just inviting more problems. The line, it's too much. It's too much. Too much.
So we've talked about this a lot. I drove to Waco this past weekend, and I stopped at actually every Buc-ee's on my stop. But I stopped at the one in San Marcos.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, but that's I stopped there. And I don't ever really do this, but I didn't need gas at the time, and I wanted to go in and actually have a sub. So first of all, your grievance passes. That's what I'm about to kind of confirm. Yeah. I parked on the side, like the width side, not the length side.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't need gas.
Right.
And I didn't realize I parked on the opposite end of the bathroom.
It's an 8-hour hike, man.
Oh, dude, I had to walk through the parking lot. I had to walk past all the shopping area. I had to walk past the bakery. I had to walk past everything. And then I had to go to the bathroom. And then when I was done, I had to go all the way to the other end to the cold drinks and get one and then come all the way back. And I had to carry everything, you know what I mean, through the whole trek. It bums me out, but I think I have to agree with you. I would also add, as a sub grievance, I was so excited to get some kolaches because I was driving, I was in the middle, I was doing this and that, whatever. And you think like that's a staple of Buc-ee's, right?
Kinda, yeah.
They have a new rule and they have stopped selling them past 11 a.m.
See,
what are you doing?
What are they putting on the menu instead? I mean, that's why I'm getting kolaches all day long. What exactly do they think I want?
I've already let this slide. They got rid of the pepper jack cheese kolaches.
Which
so
is
now I
a
have
crime.
to eat it with they're amazing, but now I had to eat these like American cheese, which aren't great, but I've allowed myself to lower my standard because I love the kolaches so much, but now I can't even access them for lunch. What?
And I like Buc-ee's. I love the concept. I think it's a brilliant idea. It's too big. Just build another one further down the road. Obviously we'll drive. I mean, you could put one every 30 miles. I think we'll stop at every one of them, but I will not, if I'm driving north, I won't drive underneath the bridge. You know what I mean? Everything I want has to be on and off the highway. And if I'm driving south, when I'm going to Dallas, there are stops that I always make. I never go underneath the bridge. It's always on my right side.
You're never stopping at either Buc-ee's on the way home.
No, because I've already done that on the way up. You can't make me take 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm old. I'm trying to beat a record, try to beat a time.
Also, on the way back, we stopped at Buc-ee's again. And this isn't a grievance because it was fair, but I had a great parking spot to gas up, like one of the front,
front
spots
row,
to
baby.
gas up. And I was gassing up, and my wife was going to stay in the car with the kid, and I was going to run in and get everything we needed. And as I was finishing gassing up, somebody came in to wait behind me. So then I had to move the car before I went in and hiked all the way through this.
Yesterday, I actually parked at a pump and never got gas. Just left because I couldn't find anywhere else to park. Hey, that's what we call the airing of grievances. Don't worry, you get a chance again tomorrow. Hey, thanks for hanging with us today. There's so much more to do. We're just the beginning of a full sporting day. The Blitz will be here in force in just a couple hours. Bye, RJ.
94.1 San Antonio.